Welcome back to the Comics Aficionados live here on Think Critical Patreon or Think Critical YouTube. I'm so used to the other intros that I'm already screwing things up, but things are off to a bit of an interesting start. Aaron Sparrow probably not going to be able to make it, not feeling all that well. Doc has prom going on because he's domesticated Doc, and so we've had some people fall out at the last minute, but we have some amazing replacements, mostly Eric Breed, but we've also got Weird Science Jim. And welcome back, Sully. Were you indeed watching the show with your nephews when Doc was saying all those terrible jokes?
No, I wasn't. I was like tuning in and out because I was like in a room full of, actually a porch full of my relatives, and everyone's just talking and stuff. And so I'm like, trying to be nice. I think I already got busted being on the phone the night before. My auntie scolded me at supper. Like, why are you on that phone? I'm like,
you were listening to the Jack show during your fucking bed and breakfast.
I'll do that too. Yeah. From waking up on Friday mornings, I am waking up to the Jack show. That's true. Yeah, I missed you all last week though, but I was in Florida, in Cocoa Beach, Florida, and it was beautiful. I mean, and like down the street from Cape Canaveral, we passed by like Patrick Space Force Base, and I'm like, wow, look at that, a Space Force Base. I was like, I want to get to Mars, and this is how it's going to happen. I love this shit.
Yeah. When I was stationed at Tucsops in Colorado Springs, we were launching the first Block 2R GPS satellite, and it was being launched from Cape Canaveral. We sent a team down there. It was like a big day and all that stuff, and it blew up on the fucking pad. Those guys were so disappointed. They'd worked on it for like 15 years developing and stuff. It was great.
Man. But yeah, I'm Team Elon, man. I want to get to Mars. I think that's going to be cool. People are like, why spend all that money to get up there when we have all these problems down here? And I'm like we can do everything. We can do it all. We're human beings. We're going to do it all. We really are. We're going to get up there.
I've told my children at least one of you has to go to Mars.
That's awesome. I love that. Can you bring my ashes with you? Can you smuggle my ashes with you? I want to be buried on Mars. I really do.
I'm not going to Mars. Listen, the kids.
I would love to.
Great. Breen, you going to Mars?
I hadn't planned on it.
Oh.
We'll bring
how you doing today, buddy? So you got a little different setup this week.
Yeah, my computer is messed up, and I took it to a shop 3 weeks ago. Checked in about 3 days after they said they'd look at it. Then 15 more days passed, and I just went and said, I'll just take it back. So now it's sitting in a box, and I'm on this computer that my friend resurrected. Hadn't been updated since 2017.
Beautiful.
I'm rocking Windows 7, and it doesn't recognize my camera or my microphone. So you're getting a good close-up of my fat face and muffled dialogue.
Man, love it, dude.
Kind of fitting, though, because some of the people in the comics industry are behaving like it's 2017 again.
It has been a little bit off. It was funny this week, Dylan. I'm talking to my good friend Jim on the Hot or Not podcast, and you know that he doesn't like your face, right?
Mm-hmm. Nobody ever said that.
He doesn't like your face. So apparently one of his neighbors got out of line that kind of looks like you, and he went over there and beat the crap out of him.
He does look like Dylan. It's weird, and it made me feel bad. When I'm hitting him, I'm yelling stuff like Philip Kenny Johnson sucks. The Giants low. The guy had no idea. He's like, I'm an Eagles fan. I'm like, the Giants suck. You. Now I realized afterwards, I'm like, this guy really does look like Dylan, and it just made me giggle. I'm like, oh my goodness gracious. But a lot smaller than you. I will tell you that.
So apparently Jim's dog has been taking number twos on this guy's lawn.
That's what he says. We have a little dog, and they have these craps on their lawn that look like an elephant went by and took a dump. And it's no way it came out of my dog. And the guy kept getting upset at us about it. But you keep going, Wes.
Well, I mean, it's your story.
I just want to jump in to say that she legit didn't go on their lawn. But that's what this guy thought.
Well, you and your wife take care of the dog, and you take her for walks, and you clean up her poops.
Yeah, well, she goes in our backyard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
kinda
the guy
took him up
left
and
a
put out.
note on Jim's door saying, "Hey, if your dog number 2's on my lawn again, I'm going to kill you."
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and
left a
that's
little
exactly
present.
what he put. He actually wrote it there. Like, if she number two's again, I'm gonna come over, I'm gonna kill all of you. Then signed the note and then made sure that we knew it was this guy from two doors down. The idea of like, that's kind of a threat. Like, why would you sign that and whatever? But as Wes will probably tell you now, that was not all he did.
He returned the number 2's that he attributed to Jim's dog by opening the door and throwing it into his house.
Yeah. Yeah. He
That's a
threw
shitty thing to do.
a shovel full of crap and like grass. Like he went like really dug in and threw it in our house. So we weren't too happy about that. So I went down. My son came flying down from down the road. He's a Marine. He also brought his gun. Guns were brought out. It was bad. It was really bad. And then I grabbed the guy, threw him against my car, and then I'm telling you, like halfway through, realized, man, this guy looks like Dylan.
It's like I better hit him harder.
And I'm like, oh my goodness. Then I was also, this was while I was sick, couldn't breathe. Ended up at one point trying to like, I had to lock him up because I was like really winded. Then we kind of slid down the side of my car and ended up on the sidewalk. But then the police came and they sorted it out as that guy started crying like a baby once the police came because he realized he had done messed up at that
It was an emotional moment.
It was lovely.
Oh, wow.
It was lovely. At one point, they were kind of, I don't, everybody was kind of giving this guy a break. I was screaming. I was told by my wife, my son, and one of the policemen to go inside because I was so crazed up about this guy because he threw crap in our house. You can't do that. That's crazy. And yeah, so he did get taken downtown though. So I don't know exactly what's going on. I've been told to stay out of it by this point.
Yeah, I mean,
You were
got
the
plenty of
victim,
evidence.
Jim.
I watch
I
a
know.
lot of Law and Order. You got lots of evidence.
I was the victim because I walked down, didn't see, stepped in the nonsense, ended up getting the note, all that. And plus, didn't
He
feel
drew a
good.
map to his house with his name. What a
Cell
dumbass.
phone, his Instagram. He might as well put everything on there. I think the policeman, there was a male and a female cop. The female cop was all with me. She's like, this is ridiculous. And male cop was just like, no, he's a young guy. I'm like, I don't care. My wife's yelling, we can't ruin his life. Oh, yes, we can. We can very easily. And yeah,
did that
This guy loves Philip Kennedy Johnson. He already ruined his life.
In the
telling
words
you,
of
and
Obi-Wan
I kept looking
Kenobi.
at him. I'm like, I'm telling you, it's your doppelganger, but smaller. I was like, holy crap! it
You're
really
mini
does
me,
look
a
like
mini Dylan.
Yeah. Like,
Apparently,
see you on
Dylan's bad at
Saturday
crime.
morning.
You don't write a map to your house with your name on.
No, that's the other thing. This is your off brother. He didn't
boy.
come out too well. But yeah. Fun time.
But even with walking pneumonia, COVID, and 5 blood
Maybe that's
clots in
how
your
I got
lungs,
the
you still
embolisms.
decided to slap somebody around.
Yeah, because I didn't know I had the embolisms at that point, so maybe that's what did it. He didn't fight back much. I kind of got him in hockey,
Kinda
like
took it.
He was
grab
scared.
and oh yeah.
He was scared you were contagious. You know,
I was
He was
wheezing.
probably
He
like,
was wheezing on
I
me.
was having problems.
I
I'm
got an
telling you.
actual zombie attack.
At one point, I realized that I better clinch him up, or I'm in trouble because I couldn't move. I was like, I am done. I was wheezing and all that, but. Oh, well. The guy's seen me like 2 or 3 times since. He walks out his door, sees me, and Grandpa Simpson's 180 back in. He won't even look at me now. So screw him. Wasn't our dog either. I do have a sneaking suspicion. It might have been my son Rafe's dog that he just
Ooh.
walked down there. He won't admit it, but he laughed when I asked him.
Oh boy.
So it was your fault.
Well, it wasn't mine, but he hasn't said it was his, but we live on a busy street. There's tons of dogs that walk, and we don't go to that yard. It just is a weird thing that he just assumed it was us, but that's what happens.
Well, he probably knows it was your son.
Wow. He had problems with Rafe, my second youngest son. At one point, he was putting chairs out on the road for parking spots, and Rafe came and just rode right through them. And then the guy saw it and started yelling at him, and Rafe punched him right in the face. So this guy's had some issues, but he's really loud for how small he is the problem. He's like a little weasel guy.
So
good.
he was putting chairs onto the street to hold his parking spots.
Yeah.
Well, did he shovel them out though? Was it like
No, this wasn't even snow. He did
Okay.
it. I told my sons the idea like right away. If somebody shovels out that, you do not park in that space.
Right.
That's bullshit.
we have a
But
code in South Boston? You get your tires slashed if you do it. You take someone's marker out of your
But
parking spot.
It is
That's
kind
the
of a
Boston accent.
Philadelphia thing. You put your. The problem is it's a public street and there's tons of spaces, and I don't know. Rafe got mad. He just ran through those chairs. They were like backdoor plastic chairs. He just ran right through them. The guy got mad. Rafe is a little bit of a. Well, all my kids kind of have a short fuse. I don't know why, but yeah, I just punched him, walked away. The guy didn't say anything.
They're just acorns to your family tree, Jim.
Yeah. Usually they're
cool?
punching me. That's what it is. So that's fine.
You sound a lot better this week, Jim.
Yeah, my voice is back a little. It's getting there. I still feel I can't really do much. I get very tired and winded. Gotta get my lung capacity back. I told Dylan selling.
Yeah, if you're gonna go work over the neighbors, you need to be able to go a few rounds.
Oh, this guy doesn't realize. I'm like, it's like Princess Bride. At any point, this guy could come over and beat the living crap out of me, but I have to put up in the front. So, the idea that I'm very strong. I can't breathe.
I foresee Jim.
He can just destroy me.
Jim's going to have a Rocky IV training montage.
Yeah. Yeah. It would be me walking halfway up the stairs, then laying there for and then high-fiving Apollo. That would be it. And then getting winded from that.
How does this stuff keep happening to you?
I don't know. I was going to say, if I went to Mars, somehow I'd fall, I'd trip, a rock would go up my butt. I'd have some crazy thing, and it would all be a disaster. I would be to blame for the Mars thing just going down. It always does. It always has happened like this. I don't know. I try to keep to myself. I think that's what it is. I try to keep to myself so much that it reverses. And
But people are like, I really wouldn't know that guy. He's very guarded.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there was a point where somebody was trying to find our house, and they were going to the neighbors' houses and like, do you know who Jim Warner is? Nobody did. Not even my neighbor with the connected house didn't actually know my name. I just don't get involved.
So don't get involved. This is the fourth neighbor that you slapped around for getting out of line.
No, yeah.
That I know of.
Every story is our cat got out. It ran away. We think it's in our one neighbor across the yard in their garage. They have a garage with a bunch of junk in it. And I told you, I'm like, I want to go ask the guy. But the last time I talked to him, I had him choked out while he was punching me in the face. But that was all because of my wife and his wife. We had to get involved because of them. But yeah.
But your cat escaped prison.
Yeah.
And you
He
bought a
jumped out of-
humane cat trap that like snaps.
Yeah.
Like a mouse
he's
trap,
figured
but
it
big.
out. He goes in and eats the food and seems to not. I even changed it up last night. Thought that he was going to go. I think he went in, but he doesn't hit this plate. It might be a faulty trap. Oh, he escaped. He jumped out like a 12-foot jump out a window and ran. No, he didn't. I blame my wife.
Yeah,
She's not nice.
probably. She blamed you.
She's always, yeah. I told her she opened the window. There was no screen. He jumped out. That's what and I'm like, don't worry. It wasn't your fault. Nobody would have thought that. Just don't get upset. 2 minutes later, she's yelling that she knows that I left the front door open and it must be me screaming. Like, oh, well. And then I said, no, bitch, it was you. But I didn't want to say it, but it was her. The thing
You dropped a B-bomb?
I probably not. No.
No, I was about to say, you're not that tough.
No. I'm usually nice.
You go slap around a neighbor who looks like Dylan, but you're not standing up to your wife like
Usually
that.
the stuff, this time was different because that guy put number 2 in the house. Usually what happens is I'm like on the outside. There's a fight going on. Somebody says something to somebody in my family, and then I get involved. But I usually don't start the stuff. I didn't start that one. The guy put number 2 in the house. Number 2. He called the
Yeah.
shit crap.
Number 2. Don't take that crap, Jimmy. Don't do it.
Also, yeah. Also, I was thinking of "Can't Buy Me Love" when he's like, "You put
You
shit
pooped
in
on my house." I was thinking
I
that
was doing
too.
this, that's all I kept thinking. I'm like laughing in my head while thinking of Dylan.
It's the African anteater dance.
Yeah, exactly. It was trouble. So yeah, that was my that was a couple weeks ago though. That was way back. That was like the first week that I was sick, second week, and I forgot all about it because we hadn't talked, and I remembered it.
Well, it's very exciting stuff.
Yeah, yeah, lovely. And that's my life. That's what happens.
Well, it was more exciting than the comic books this week, Jim. 5th release week, it was terrible.
Yeah. That annuals week at DC is always trouble, and it really shows you when this week happens. It really shows you how much you do rely sometimes on DC to kind of get the big two readable, because Marvel is really, really hurting. Really.
Well, we got the Punisher this week. That was the best book from Marvel or DC.
Yeah, you convinced me. Man, I was an issue behind. It was good.
What do you think, Dylan? Was there anything from Marvel or DC worth reading?
Man, the art in Batman Wonder Woman was fantastic. Cliff Chang
wasn't it?
killed it, yeah. And I thought the story was fun enough. So that was probably the best DC book this week, but not saying much.
No. The
Yeah.
Punisher book was way better.
I thought Punisher was just okay this week.
I thought the art was better than the Batman Wonder Woman book.
I completely disagree on that. I think Cliff Chang did a way better job in Batman Wonder Woman.
It's weird. His
Think you're
faces
crazy.
were a little off, but other than that, it looked great.
Yeah. And I didn't like his Joker once the hat come off.
That Joker's the funniest Joker I've ever seen when he comes in. All flamboyant.
with the
Rootin'
cowboy
tootin'
get up,
Joker.
yeah.
It
Speaking
made me
like a
laugh
cowboy
so
and
much.
everything.
Oh,
too,
yeah. Oh, it's so good.
He was wearing a cowboy outfit, but he almost like had a pirate hat on because it was 3-cornered.
It was a big hat. That was like
It was
a
a very big
50-gallon
hat. Yeah, that was like, that was a huge hat.
I just
What
want
do
to
you
know
think
what
of
the cops
Bonanza
when they
type
went
thing?
in. Yeah, it was when the cops go in to arrest him. Then I'm like, what is he dressed up like? One of the village people? Like he was really over the top.
What did you think of the Sacrificers finale, Dylan?
I thought it was pretty good. I liked it. It ended on a more hopeful note than most Remender stories, but I enjoyed it. It was probably my
No
favorite
hope
comic this
for
week.
or any of that stuff for Pigeon.
Yeah,
Pigeon.
you know,
Did not work out for him.
He's the titular character, and the title is Sacrificer. So
Yeah.
yeah, sacrifice.
It was pretty good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
We also got the finale of something else. What else did we get the finale of, Sully?
Skinbreaker.
Oh,
Yeah,
Windbreaker.
Skinbreaker, which is not very
8 of 8.
good.
Really? It didn't end up
No,
being that good?
It's a good looking
no.
book.
It's
Good looking book.
the first couple issues are good, and then you realize what's going on, and it's the same thing every issue. And Skinbreaker ended up falling flat for me.
Yeah, the weird thing is the old man leaves to like explore another part of the planet, and it still looks the same.
Yeah,
Like, you couldn't make it to the mountains or a
Yeah.
river or something.
and this last issue was very much like a wrap-up issue. It wasn't even like here's the finale. It was like the finale happens like the first page, and it's like the rest is just wrapping up, like, and then they lived happily ever after, and that's it. It was
Yeah.
did
Yeah.
not care for
It's
how
like a
Skinbreaker
George
ended.
Lucas planet. It's all the same. I read the first 4 issues. I read and reviewed them on our Patreon, and we were going to do the next 4. We were going to, and me and Wes went through it. And I'm like, this could have been issue like 5. Like it seemed like I didn't miss anything.
Yep,
That's cool.
because they just repeat the same thing every single issue.
And it's kind of a sad deal because, like you said, Dylan, we did the first 4. By the 4th issue, I was already like, okay, we got to get something different. But those first 3 were really good.
Yeah.
And then, it was already starting to kind of be same old, same old.
What do you think, Sully? Were you happy with the Sacrificers finale?
Yeah, sure. It landed the plane. I liked the ending. I love the art. It had to land somehow. It was a great book. And now, like listen, I have carved 10 minutes out of my morning, and I have completely to myself, and I have a stack of books, and I've gotten all my Sacrificers, and I'm going to read them. So it's going to take 3 weeks. I can do an issue a day, and I'm just going to like refresh myself with this and read it, total. And this has been a great ride. It's for me, it's been one of my favorite Remender stories, and this is a great reason to keep going back to your local comic book shop every month. And yes, it had a hiatus too, but I mean, overall, what a great ride. Great art.
Letters page.
Yeah, in your letters page. Yeah, and Jimmy got to name the letters page, so he's got high five to you, bro. Love it.
Thank you.
What'd you think of Firefly?
Okay. Firefly was interesting. I bought it. I got the B cover. It's nice. Jorge Fornes did all 4 variant covers, and so that was just like a nice little pick. And overall, it was a clunky story. I liked it. I love the art. I love the layouts of the panels. I had Firefly when I was 11. Dude, that was a great action figure. But it's a bit of it was kind of like an episode of Aeon Flux. It was kind of confusing and kind of maybe a little pointless. And
I thought it was the easiest one to understand.
Yeah, same.
I like the October.
I thought this was the first real silent mission.
Yeah.
I was like,
Kinda,
I love the pages where he's going through the ducts
vents,
and you can see him go through the building and everything and knocking people out.
Yeah, I mean, Riley Rossmo does shit like that too. You know what I mean? Those kind of like meandering, progressions. But but just anchoring it in real time, because you get that Polaroid of Afghanistan, 1984, and then you have all the Soviet stuff too. So the October Guard's clearly in there, but there hasn't been a Soviet Union in 35 years.
And they were still holding her, so he went and saved his friend.
Right. So it's like it's a kind of like, where is this supposed to fit in current Real American Hero continuity? I don't think so. I think it's kind of a weird fit. But overall, I enjoyed it. And overall, the 5 silent missions, I think 2 out of the 5 of them really work. The other one was definitely which one won? The Crimson Guard one.
I thought this
Zartan
one was
pretty
second to Crimson Guard.
Okay,
Agreed.
yeah. I think Crimson Guard, Firefly, Zartan, and
I
the
thought you liked
Copperhead
the other one with the swamp buggy.
Copperhead. Yeah, that was okay. That's 4 out of 5, and then definitely Baroness was 5 in last place.
The worst one.
Yeah.
What do you recommended that one, Dylan?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I like the Firefly
That
one.
was pretty good too. Like, it's not super duper exciting, but it's definitely a silent issue. And I thought Fornes did a really good job. First of all, I just liked him knocking everybody out when they weren't looking, but then going through the ducts and all that stuff. Well, that was fun.
Yeah, it was an enjoyable issue.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I guess it could have been worse on the 5th release week.
I think the Cobra silent missions overall were better than the G.I. Joe ones. 5 for 5, yeah. I think, pretty much.
Definitely give your good thoughts and vibes and all that good stuff to AL. She's going through a bit of a hard time. She's lost a few people as of late, and it hasn't been going well for her. So definitely let AL know that we're appreciate her being here with us and that she's part of the family. So it sounded like she's been having some struggles this week. So definitely give out some love to her. And Breen, you have been reading comic books longer than most of us have been alive. We did lose a legend this week in Jerry Conway. What were your thoughts on that one, dude?
I think of Jerry Conway, if there's a Mount Rushmore for workhorses in comics history, he's on it. I don't think people realize how hard it is to do 3 or 4 books a month, every month. I remember when I first started reading in late 75, you couldn't pick up 3 comics that he didn't write at least one of. And then I went back and realized, hey, he was writing Thor, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, all of it in his early 20s. And yeah, I think I said, what great stories did he do? I mean, there's the death of Glenn Stacy, obviously. That's the one everybody remembers. And I really couldn't put my finger on a great one per se.
Spider-Man, Superman.
What's that?
Superman, Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah, that is an individual issue. Absolutely. I said that came out when I was 13 years old, and I'm maybe 64 next week, and I'm still here. That's one of the reasons why. But, and I couldn't really think of any like great runs or anything like that, but I don't ever remember reading a Conway book and being disappointed either. So, like, if there's a place for guys like him and Roger Stern, Dan Abnett, guys like that, because I said, they're great writers that will take 6 months to do one terrific story. Then there's guys that keep the engines running, and that's what I always thought of Jerry Conway. I was a little disappointed there towards the end when he started trying to appease the unappeasable by apologizing for creating the Punisher, but I attribute that to the times. I was told that if you ran into him at a show, even when he was, mouthing off on other things, he was you could talk comics with him, forever, and he's a great conversationalist in that regard. And that guy just contributed so much to the industry. And I said that's a tough one.
Yeah, he was. He's a creator of Punisher. He's a creator of Firestorm, a couple of really cool characters, and he has perhaps the most memorable Spider-Man story in the history of the industry, which is a pretty enormous achievement.
And I didn't know this. He apparently had the longest run of Justice League, because I guess he started sometime like the 160s and went through Justice League Detroit. And I kind of appreciated him at DC because he brought a Marvel flavor to what he did. The DC comics in the Silver and Bronze Age have their places. I mean, they're nice. Like Carrie Bates on Flash. They're nice, pleasant books. But when you're reading Firestorm in the early '80s, it felt like a Marvel book. And like his Justice League, as much as he could make it feel like the Avengers, he did. And that's I said he was just a very, very good writer for a lot of years.
Yeah, between him and John Byrne, they definitely brought over a lot of that Marvel flavor to DC when they were starting to kind of reinvent the characters and make the universe a little bit more adult or growing up, I guess.
Pre-crisis. Mm-hmm. So he was like a breath of fresh air. Like you could read a Superman, and no matter what happened in one issue, nothing would ever be referenced in the next one and the one after. Yeah, that's how DC was. You have a Conway and like Englehart when he came over, gave it some the Marvel touch, and made a lot of those books more fun to read. Because if you're reading the two in the 70s, it was night and day, the difference between the two companies, until some Marvel writers started trickling over there and doing what they were doing.
Yeah, so definitely an enormous loss for the industry at large. And we do have a sponsor for today's channel. And if you're in El Paso, you can find HH and Sigma Comics and their newest offering, Calico Wanted Man. Very cool. And congratulations to HH and the family over at Sigma Comics on being fully funded, I believe, within a few hours of launching on Kickstarter. And it is available right now. And hopefully we're all able to back that. HH is a part of the family. And Pigback, a pretty interesting name for a villain. What do you think, Sully? Does it get you excited? Did you book it already?
It's hypnotic. I tell you that. I fell into a trance. It was pig bath, and then all the bagpipes. I felt like I could almost taste the Guinness. Bagpipes, Irish stuff.
Yeah,
corned beef.
So
corned beef, please.
Cabbage. Jim, you're a corned beef guy?
I love it.
I don't mind corned beef. I like Larry Bird.
I love a Reuben sandwich.
Yeah, Reuben's okay.
I love corned beef.
Reuben is my favorite sandwich.
Love Reuben sandwiches. I love sauerkraut, and it's just, I don't even like Swiss cheese much, but Swiss cheese, sauerkraut, Thousand Island dressing, marble rye. My mouth is watering.
What do you think, Dylan? What's your favorite sandwich?
Favorite sandwich?
Sandwich aficionados. Let's do it.
Oh man, I don't know. A good Italian's really good, but then also a buffalo chicken sandwich goes hard. I don't know, man. It depends what mood I'm in.
Wow.
Buffalo chicken sandwich? You wouldn't rather just have buffalo wings?
We're talking about
seems
sandwiches.
like a hoagie too.
Well, I know, but it's better as a buffalo wing.
You want a Philly cheesesteak? You don't want a steak? Why not just get a ribeye? We're talking about sandwiches.
Sandwich.
Classic.
Sandwiches.
What are you talking about?
How about a Cuban? You like the Cuban?
I like Cuban sandwiches.
Really
Cubanos
good.
are great. Oh man, I love a French dip.
Would you like that too?
Dude, I love a Philly cheesesteak. The best thing about the Philly cheesesteak are all the mushrooms and the green peppers that you put on it with the provolone.
Nonsense.
I love a steak. Well, we have around here in Boston, we have the steak. The steak, we call it a steak spucky, a steak bomb, and it's a toasted bun, a submarine sandwich, and then it's loaded with onions and peppers and mushrooms and extra American cheese.
Philly cheesesteak.
But
no,
the good
that
place,
sounds like Boston clam chowder.
But then the good Italian places, they throw in some capicola or salami or pepperoni in with the steak when they're frying it on the flat top.
Get some more fat.
My gosh, it gets greasy and it's so good. And I want pickles and extra cheese. Hold the mayo. No mayo on. I don't like mayo on hot sandwiches. None of that.
You don't like mayo on hot sandwiches?
Not regular mayo. Like I can.
Well,
like,
without mayo, it's not a Philly cheesesteak.
I'm in Boston here. We got a steak spucky. They can keep the Philly cheesesteak in the Velveeta there. Park the car in Harvard Yard.
I do
So,
like
Dylan,
Cooper Shark
one
on
of those?
mine.
Are you one of those guys that goes to Buffalo Wild Wings and gets like the boneless buffalo wings?
No, but also I don't go to Buffalo Wild Wings. They're terrible out here. They're awful. When I lived in Florida, they were all right. Every Buffalo Wild Wings I've been out to in Washington is the worst. They're bad, but no.
But I despise boneless buffalo wings. They're chicken tenders. Like, stop lying.
Essentially, yeah.
Or depending on the size, maybe chicken nuggets.
You know, I can remember one of the best sandwiches I ever had in my life. I was in Cleveland. We were going to see the Sox play the Indians, and there was this place called Carl's Inn of the Barristers, and it was across the street from the courthouse. And it's 10 a.m. We're watching The View, drinking Miller Lite, eating corned beef sandwiches on rye with mustard. And it was just so piled high, thick sandwich. And it was just like, oh my God, this is so simple, but it's so delicious. This like legendary Cleveland, bar. And it's like there are lawyers in there at 10 a.m. drinking before they go. It was great, man. But yeah, one of the best
I used
sandwiches.
to go to Tony's bar in Colorado Springs, and it was like a Packers bar, so it had like cheese curds and stuff like that. It was pretty good, but they had this BLT, but they put like garlic mayo or something on it that just elevated the sandwich as a whole. It was so amazing. Best BLT
Buffalo
ever.
Wild Wings used to have a beef on whack. I like that sandwich too. Yeah, if anybody's had it, pretty good. It's almost like a French dip, but it's like a beef sandwich on a salted bun. Has a little I think not poppy seeds. It has something on it. Something screwed up. I think it is a buffalo thing though. Pretty good.
You go to Buffalo Wild Wings and you don't get wings?
No, this was way back when I was in college. It wasn't even called. It was called BW3 at that point.
That's the first one I went to in
yeah. And
Ohio.
we would go for wings all the time, but then sometimes we'd go. They used to have back in the day, I think it was 1 cent wings at one point. It was so long ago, but it was cheap, but the sandwich was good. I liked it.
It was Buffalo Bills Wild Wings back then.
Really? Yeah, exactly.
That's why it was BW3.
Annie Oakley came over, gave us.
I don't think Annie Oakley was there.
Yeah.
But it was a better shop.
Yeah. I liked it then. We used to go like Wednesdays or whatever. There was a day. It was like 25-cent wings or something. And we'd get a lot of them.
Breen, what's the best sandwich you've ever had?
Okay, subs. Jersey Mike.
Subway?
The original Italian on Rosemary Parm. Excellent. It should be because $20
Yeah.
Yeah. Penn Station makes a really nice Philly cheesesteak.
What toppings?
I get onions, mushrooms, peppers, and mayo.
Okay, so
'Cause
authentic.
mayo belongs on a hot sandwich.
I'm agreeing with you, dude.
Now, I'm a fellow Bostonian, but I said you gotta go with facts. Of course, I was gone by the time I was 5, so that might be why. But yeah, as far as sandwich you can make at home, I like good turkey and chicken with cheese.
Oh yeah,
Swiss cheese.
somewhat.
I hate Swiss.
Hey, he's going American. That dude's a patriot.
What's
You
your favorite?
Hey,
So, what's your favorite cheese on a grilled cheese? I mean, like I like American cheese, but sometimes I like Havarti dill, and then sometimes Munster is just next level.
I think American cheese is the go-to, and it absolutely works. But throwing a little cheddar, even mozzarella on there, whatever you want, just to make it nice and gooey.
Yeah, solid. Yeah, I agree with Wes. American is my favorite, but I have my brother-in-law is a chef, as I know you are, and that he will whatever you get on the regular never works for a chef. So because he would, if he made a grilled cheese, he would be the kind who would put Havarti or something else on there, and I would eat them and go, "This is great. This is what I want for the rest of my life." And I realized, yeah, but I can't even boil a freaking egg. So if I'm making grilled cheese, it's just the basic ingredients, and I try not to burn it. Because like I said, do you remember Steakums?
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
delicious.
That's the best in the world if you can make it. But I have a stove that only one burner works when it wants to. So all I end up doing is activating my smoke alarms and having barely edible sandwiches as a result. But I get when as a chef you can try all kinds of crazy things that just make whatever the rest of us are eating seem pretty mundane.
This has goat cheese and candied pecans on baguette. It's real, goat
Are you
cheese.
French now?
Oh, mais oui.
Go back to Canada.
Hey, bien entendu.
Go to Montreal, Jerry.
Allons entendre la patrie.
So, Jim, I was telling you about this in honor of Philadelphia, in my love of authentic Philly cheesesteaks. I made a Korean cheesesteak, and it had like bulgogi meat, and we cooked it up, and it was basically just like thin steak. Then I threw a little like grilled kimchi on the top of there, threw a little cheese whiz. It was delicious, dude.
And then said, "This is a Philly cheesesteak."
Nah, it was a Korean cheesesteak.
Exactly. That's
It didn't
when
have
you change
mushrooms
up-
or green
there's-
peppers or nothing.
There's a specific Philly cheesesteak. Cheesesteak you could make all the time. It's just the one specific. Like I always say, it's like Boston clam chowder. It's not that if you add jalapenos and have a red sauce, it's something else then. So I had a cheesesteak last night. Pretty good.
What toppings?
Grilled onions and cheese. But I have and sauce.
Is it
I use
Velveeta?
Cooper Sharp. That's another thing that's kind of taken over a bit around here. Is the Cooper Sharp is kind of the go-to cheese now. You could still get the Whiz.
Okay.
It just gets messy, but I do like that. I do like it, but I prefer Cooper Sharp on it. And even then, I feel kind of weird. But I'll never call it a Philly cheesesteak. I call it a here cheesesteak since we're in the area.
What kind of sauce do you use? Do you use like Thousand Island?
No, ranch. No, it's just
Ranch?
spaghetti sauce. It's just pizza.
You put
sauce.
spaghetti sauce on
Yeah,
your
when we call
cheesesteak?
the place, if I call a place, I'll say I'll have a cheesesteak, and they say, do you want sauce and onions? That's that, and say, oh yeah, I'll have both of those. They don't give you a lot of options if you just get it. Yeah, they have the other things, because I really do
it's
like
not
a
an
buffalo
authentic
chicken
to me, Jim.
cheesesteak too. Is awesome. Those are great.
Why not just get buffalo wings if you want buffalo chicken?
And it's just I don't know, portable.
It's a whole different thing. It's
Yeah,
a
it's-
sandwich.
Depends,
Oh,
it
I love
depends on the
that. I
salmon. I
love it.
mean, the tenders. I mean, like my pub down the street, they use fresh tenders. I mean, better than like hand battered, like and fried there. So it's
They-
like they're not
Better
the
than
frozen
Raisin
ones.
Canes?
Yeah, ooh.
The
Those are
idea of
good.
a chicken cheesesteak it's chopped up, almost like steakums, but chopped up thin sliced chicken. And it just looks like a cheesesteak. It's just chicken, but it's
Honorable
It's good.
mention.
You throw a little buffalo sauce and ranch on
they
it?
have the buffalo sauce and they have blue cheese in it.
Mhm.
Oh,
It's
blue
good.
cheese.
It's
no
good.
way. Disgusting.
It is
Blue cheese is
disgusting,
good.
and but I like blue cheese. But then I found out that if you crush an ant and smell it, it smells like blue cheese, and it's weirded me out.
Wow.
Since then, it's crazy. And
Did you
it,
crush and smell an ant?
And,
What?
well, I usually don't. When I read that, if you get an ant and crush it and smell it, blue cheese. Don't do it, Dylan. If you like blue
Interesting.
cheese, it weirded me out. It's so bad. Yeah. Give it a shot.
And all love to the chicken parm. Chicken or eggplant parmesan sub. Yes, please.
Oh yeah, I love a good meatball sandwich too.
Oh yeah,
I do
meatballs.
too. I had one of those.
Oh,
this
do
week,
you
too.
put your potato chips in your meatball sub too?
No,
I do. Oh, that's
No.
next level.
I don't like my potato chips to get soggy.
They don't last long enough to get soggy. You just inhale that. They stay crunchy because it's not going to live that long.
And then I used to love going to a little pizzeria that would have the pizza sandwiches that they would throw through the little baking oven thing, and you get the big slice of pickle and just plain chips with it. Those were always good. Yeah. All right, so you're the chef.
Yes.
When you're doing hot wings, should they be naked or do they need to be dredged?
Oh, that's interesting because if you dredge them first, it's going to hold the sauce better, in a way. But they can I like them naked. I like a crispy skin and then toss it in a real simple buffalo sauce. It's 2 parts Frank's sauce, 2 parts Frank's hot sauce to 1 part melted butter, and that's your perfect. That's buffalo sauce.
I throw a little fish sauce in there and some Worcestershire and a little bit of garlic.
Sure. I mean, and then from there, that's your foundation, and then you can jazz it up any way you want and kick it up. I used to go to Hooters for the wings, and they used to have the 5 different. They were great wings, and they had the 5 different heatnesses. I loved the 5 of 5 was called 911 sauce. I loved that back in the day. Just imagine this big bald head turning beet red, and my eyes are running, and I'm like, oh, I love this.
I like the double D.
Oh man, those are great.
Man, apparently we can't talk about wings anymore because General Ballsack's on a fast.
Oh,
right.
Sorry about that.
Real
General.
quick, Dylan, naked or breaded wings for your hots?
Naked.
Yeah, I'm with you, dude. I love a good hot wing. So we do have some peoples to give a little shout out to. We got some new backers on Think Critical Patreon and channel memberships, and I have lost my place. Here they are. Big shout out to Michael Berry, aka the Wild Bear himself, protector of North Barrow. Welcome to the family to Milton Murdoch, aka Freakball, the protector of Skyline Prime. And thank you very much to Chain Comics HQ, aka the Chain Master himself, protector of Ironbind. And then thank you so much to Comic Studios for supporting the channel, aka Starfall, protector of Starfall City. We've also got Dragon Pixel joining the family, Drake Force, protector of Dragon's Peak. We've got Bob Richardson, the hard hat himself, protector of New Rise City. And last but not least, thank you very much to ASCPB, the Bone Reaper, protector of Theater City. And I really do appreciate everyone supporting us on Think Critical Patreon channel memberships. You get loads of extra content in the form of podcasts, and you'll find them nowhere else. Have lots of fun there with all of your favorite guests. And if you support us there, you get a shout out and a superhero name and a city protect right here on the Comics Aficionados. So really appreciate that. And we do have some people's jobbing in. Federico de la Casa. Hey guys, Jim's stories are more interesting than the average Marvel slice of life comic. And Jim's life is real. And Wolverine, add Wolverine to a Jim story, it's like printing money.
Yeah. We don't sit around and eat and talk a lot.
No. Can you imagine someone throwing a number 2 into Wolverine's apartment and them going over and taking care of it?
And then he's too
I love
tired
that
to
issue.
continue fighting and fighting.
Wolverine's
Dylan.
wheezing.
Yes. Be great.
Jim, is your life real, or are you making all of these fantastic stories?
No,
up?
it's real.
It's damn real.
It's been. I said that story. I even told you. It seems so crazy, but it's not even the craziest thing. I always have a backlog of these nonsense stories. Things just happen. I'll just as a hint, maybe I'll tell you this coming week on the Hot or Not. A guy showed up at our door the other day, and he had a bunch of honey, and he asked for Richard. I said there's no Richard, and he tried to convince me to take his honey because he couldn't go back. I took it, but I'm afraid it's poisoned, and he had a mountain man beard. He looked like Gimli. But there's another story. Just out of the blue. He had 3.
Was it Doc?
Maybe. But he had these it's like artisan fucking honey. I tried to look it up. There was a badly placed label on the things, and I looked it up, couldn't find the place. Sitting right here. I don't know what to do with it because I'm afraid it was poison. I tried to open it. I thought it'd be sealed, like it would pop. It did not. So, and I asked my wife, like, do you know any guy? Was like, the guy was confused. He had the right address, but was asking for a different name. I'll send you a picture of the honey. You tell me if I
Sounds
should
like
eat
you
it.
stole his honey to me, Jim.
I don't know. Like, I didn't want the honey. Then he was trying to like walk in the house. I kind of barred. It was weird. But yeah, I guess I just told the story. But there's a little more to it. The guy was like giving me a sob story in his life. He was from Kutztown, which is not that close to here. That was this week. But no, these things aren't made up. I don't have that much of an imagination.
What do you think, Dylan? Some guy shows up with a big beard and a sob story and wants to give you his honey, even though you're not Richard. Do you take the honey?
I don't know. I feel like out of principle, you got to not take the honey. You're not Richard. It's not for you.
I took the honey. I mean, the guy wouldn't leave. He's like, I can't go back. I'm from there. I'm like, I don't know. So I'm like, thanks. And he gave me 3 like 16-ounce jars of honey. I don't even like honey. I hate honey.
The honeybee killed.
That's what it was. But yeah.
Weird.
And then it's funny because on the label it said apiary. I'm like, I didn't know that was beekeepers. I'm an idiot. I'm like, what the hell is that? Oh, I found that.
Yeah, an aviary is like any type
Yeah,
of thing that encloses flying animals.
So this was like apiary. I gotta look at the deal. So I think it's specific to beekeeping, but I couldn't find this place. I looked it up. It wasn't listed. My wife goes, well, find another beekeeping honey place and call them. I'm like, I'm not going to go through that much of an effort for this. It's
well, you really want to taste it, don't you?
I do, but I'm afraid it'll
kill
kill
a little bit
of
of some tea.
I think she's in on it because
lemon?
she ended up where I said, well, she wouldn't taste it, but she keeps insisting I taste it. I think she's in cahoots with this mountain man to kill me. I think that's how I ended up the whole deal. But it's sitting here. I hate honey. I can't stand honey. Yeah, exactly. She's like, just give me the password.
I want the licensing rights to sus.
What the hell? This guy looked a wreck. Go.
I would.
That's the thing, Sully. You know, you're just now getting into a relationship, and it's getting hot and heavy, and you were, at the B&B doing whatever you guys were doing, having a fun time. Eventually, you're going to walk in on her, and she's going to be taking notes while watching a murder show.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, what are the notes for? Like, why are you writing down the perfect way to kill somebody?
And I've heard this before, and I said it too. If they're taking notes, most of those murders, they don't get away with them. So you better be taking notes of what not to do.
Exactly.
My wife has a lot of times said, if I wanted to get rid of you, they'd never find the body. I'm like, all right. I love you too. That's usually on our anniversary.
Yeah. You'll get there eventually, Sully.
One of these days. Yeah.
You're still in the honeymoon phase.
It's not love until someone's planning your demise. I know this. I've been in a couple of relationships before, and it's that means you're really in love. I would pass on the door-to-door honey, though. I mean, because I'm a chef.
You find it sus?
Well, I believe in something called a custody chain. So at least like there's some kind of like, where this is coming from. Even if you go to a Haymarket place or a festival or a fair and someone's selling honey there, and they have like a business card and a website and a QR code or whatever the kids do these days, man, but there's a custody chain. At least, it's a reputable source. But someone going door to door, I mean, there's, how can you trust the product? So, I mean, there is a suspicion. It's a healthy suspicion too. You're a human. I mean, this is a survival instinct, so I would say I would politely decline. Thank you for your offer of honey, Mountain Man. But
well, I wouldn't have stolen the man's honey either. But now that Jim stole it, I think he at least owes it to the guy to get through a little pinky in there and give it a taste.
He should give it to his neighbors as a reconciliation present.
Yes, that'd be
and
great.
See,
let me know how this is. The weird thing is it's wildflower honey, it says. But when I smell it, it smells like beef jerky. But I have a real bad sense of smell. But it smells like beef jerky. I'm like, I don't know about this.
That's sus.
But it does even have a little bit of the comb in the that fancy when you put the comb in the side. Looks fancy, but
They do that. They add some honeycomb
Yeah,
to your
sometimes
jar.
you'll
Of
have a
honey?
little bit in the jar there, and you get.
Do you eat the honeycomb? What do you do with the honeycomb?
I don't know because I think that's ripping you off of honey.
It's
I
made of
said this
beeswax. So
before.
it's gonna be like, a little inedible, but it looks good. I mean,
Yeah, it looks neat.
It adds some legitimacy to the.
yeah, it's some authentic rusticness.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks homespun.
You're a chef. What do you do with that honeycomb? Do you like throw it into the thing? You
I've
heat it
never-
up, put it into a sauce?
It's made out of beeswax, literally. It's not like, it's not very edible. Honey is, of course, but no, I have no use for that. It's.
I don't know. I saw on the Food Channel someone took those little soda pop candies and turned it into a gas streak.
Yeah, that's Give me some candy and some boiling water, and I'm gonna hey, look, and I made a sauce. Ooh.
Well, yeah, they added a little bit of like stock and stuff to it. It wasn't just straight sugar.
What was the sauce for?
Probably some pork or something.
That would work actually, yeah, because brown sugar. I put brown sugar on ribs all the time, so yeah, I could. All right, I take that back. No, I did take my mocking back.
There you
I
go,
saw-
Jim. He's saying that you should eat the honey.
Yeah, I saw a Gordon Ramsay show where a guy was using orange soda as like a glaze. He didn't like it, so he liked it, but he didn't like the idea that it was orange soda. Very odd.
We do a marinade for our pork belly here that has some Sprite in it because it gets the meat very tender.
I use Dr. Pepper sometimes.
Dr. Pepper. Yeah, I was just going
when
to say
I
that.
make, like pork roast. Like
I would never
pulled
waste a
pork.
good Dr. Pepper on a marinade.
I'm making a
That's my
pork roast
favorite
right
soda.
now.
You're making a pork
No.
roast?
Yeah, no Dr. Pepper in it though, but I have it in the.
You doing the air fryer?
No, I'm doing it like a pulled pork deal. I ended up brining it, then I seared it, and then put it with a dry rub, and now it's up there in the crock pot. I'm getting.
It's
hungry.
not sitting next to you this time?
No, that crock pot got thrown away, and I was very angry.
Oh.
There was no reason. I had this little crock pot that I'd sit next to me and burn myself while me and Wes would record. But that's gone. I didn't realize it at first, and then I read, like, where the hell? And Zach said, I thought it was ridiculous, so I threw it away. Also threw away my 2 Instant Pots for no reason at all. You didn't even have an explanation for that.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Jag Live, aka Shenanigans. What are your guys' expectations for Absolute Catwoman? Is there any chance the Barbara Gordon breakout series could be good?
I got no opinion, to be honest. I'm not tuned in.
All right, Dylan, you're reading Absolute Batman along with me. Do you have expectations for Absolute Catwoman? Co-written by Scott Snyder, but with Che Grayson as the primary writer? Don't
have huge expectations for either of those. I'm not too excited for Absolute Catwoman, even though I really like Absolute Batman. Just it's not, it's kind of like, when Jeremy Adams is co-writing Green Lantern Corps. It's like you read it and you're like, oh, he's not really that involved. That's kind of how I feel about this, where it's like, yeah, Snyder's name's on it, but I don't think he's going to be super duper involved with writing it. And so I'm not too excited about it. And then I think Barbara Gordon Breakout, that's the Marika Tabaki one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't
She's
care
going
about
to
that at
prison.
all. Yeah, don't.
It's going to have huge ramifications for the upcoming Batman Poison Ivy crossover event.
Stupid Poison Ivy. They should not have crossed over with Poison Ivy. Poison Ivy being mayor makes no sense. Everything she's done to the people of Gotham, it's really stupid.
People in Gotham deserve what they get.
Well, maybe it's a
Fair point.
a Manhattan
They elected
kind of
her.
allegory. I mean, about electing an eco-terrorist versus electing a democratic socialist. Maybe there's some kind of parallel there.
Yeah. All right, Jim.
I mean, but
what are
one
your
has literally
expectations?
killed people, like a lot.
He is a serial killer, yes. Jim, do you have any expectations for Absolute Catwoman?
Not really. The thing with me is I really, really like Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. I don't really like the next 3. I keep trying to like the Flash, but it's just so slow. So at this point, I'm kind of like, embedded in with the first 3, the big 3, and the others I'll read, but I don't have any expectations for it. And then Mariko Tamaki, she's terrible. So I would never have any expectations for that except it being bad. But I'll read them. I'll check them out, but I think I'll check out soon after as well. But I'll try.
So I've been doing this comic book review channel thing for like over, I think, coming up on 8 years, maybe longer than that. And every time just a name shows up that you've never seen, and it's like a female, you're like, you start doing research and you find out they're an activist or something like that, and they have no interest in comic books. I'm assuming that's more the same, which based on my history and experience doing these things, it's probably not going to be all that good. But I'll check it out.
I've read something from her, I think, but I don't remember what it was, so it probably wasn't that great.
Yeah. But Absolute Batman's pretty good, dude.
It's awesome. I like him.
What did you think of Scarecrow? Was he your fave?
You asking me?
Yeah.
He was pretty good. He was scarier than a lot of things, and I actually give Scott Snyder credit because that almost makes up for that awful Mr. Freeze redo in the New 52, but not quite. It was actually scary, so that was pretty cool. I got us scared. That's what I did.
Dylan doesn't think it's quite up to the Absolute Bane level yet, but it's good.
Because it's one issue.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. You can't beat Pinhead Bane in one issue. Yeah.
It's good fun. We'll see what happens with Catwoman, but I don't particularly like this version of Catwoman. She just shows up, nails a guy, and leaves.
I don't think you know enough about her, which obviously that's why you'd have a series, but she doesn't seem that interesting that it would be anything that much different.
Federico de la Casa, Batman Wonder Woman, The Truth seems like a 2003 comic that I forgot about.
Yeah.
Well, there's Jeff Loeb, so that tracks.
It was a little weird, though. Didn't it feel like it was from 3 different eras or something?
Yeah,
It didn't really, timeline-wise, nothing made sense.
Because it's pre-Power of Babel, but it's also after maybe Tom King's run?
But then it's also got Harley with Joker and Tim Drake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird. And it feels like it's like Batman doesn't quite know Wonder Woman and wants to introduce her to that. Everything's all over the place. I think I don't know. It seems like he wants it that way. Like that's what he thinks Evergreen is. You just get people confused, so they just go with it. It's weird.
That's what I did partway through the book.
Yeah,
I mean, things are happening.
once you're
I was
there,
like, I'm just gonna try give up on figuring out when this takes place.
It's like the third thing that pops up. I'm like, yep, this doesn't make sense. We'll just go with it.
The exact same thing.
Yeah. It was odd. I reviewed it with Doc. Obviously, it'll be coming up in the not too distant future. And then Lane says, do I get Avengers Armageddon or Queen in Black?
No.
So the 2 big events from Marvel that are coming out and debuting the exact same month, Jim.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say you'd get Armageddon. I don't know. I don't know. I would say for me, none. But I'll be forced to read them, to review them. But I don't hear anybody that excited about Queen in Black at all. Just seems...
Here's the thing. I've read Weapons of Armageddon issue 2 with Wolverine. I thought was pretty decent that had Nuke in it. Thought it was kind of good. And I haven't read anything with the Queen in Black stuff from Al Ewing that I've liked. So I guess I would have to lean Armageddon.
Yeah. I guess it's what you're reading now. If you're reading Weapons of Armageddon, you get that. If you're that into Al Ewing and that nonsense stuff, then you get that.
Mm-hmm.
See Mary Jane murder some more people, maybe.
What do you think, Sully? Which one are you more excited for?
If given the choice between Al Ewing and Chip Zdarsky, I'll choose Broccoli. Thank you. I mean, oh man, and I like broccoli. It gives you good poops. You get better poop out of broccoli than you do out of these two. Seriously, if you eat the stems, full of good fiber. Which one would I choose? I would choose Queen in Black just because I'm a bigger Spider-Man fan than an Avengers fan overall. If given the choice.
Yeah, but it's not a Spider-Man book. It's a Null.
It's a Null book. Yeah, but it's like, it's
in Hela, which is more obviously Thor.
Yeah, but I mean, Zdarsky's never. The only Zdarsky book I've ever liked was Public Domain, and that was his his Image book, right?
You should read Marvel 2-in-1 and you'll fall in
His
love with it.
Invaders is pretty good too.
Okay.
And it kind of falls apart near the end, but it's really
Yeah, his
good.
Invaders was really good.
It was
I mean,
really
The first
good.
half of his Daredevil is really hot too.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked his art on Sex Criminals. That was like so long ago.
Yeah, prior to the hand
But-
stuff, his Daredevil was really good.
Okay, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, but I've never been I've never been quite impressed with Zdarsky. And
Al Ewing's Immortal Hulk might be better than everything that Zdarsky's done. Although at least the first half of it, and then it gets weird after issue like 23, Jim.
Yeah. 25. I remember reading that and just like, oh gosh, I couldn't take it. And it took me like 10 issues to get back to it. Then I caught up. And again, it wasn't my favorite story, and I'm sick of hearing people bring it up when it's Al Ewing, not you, Wes, but the idea of like, oh man, I
Screw
love
you,
because
Jim.
nobody brings up like, hey, he's great. That Avengers Inc. That was awesome. Or the Defenders Beyond. I couldn't get enough.
I forgot
Watch
all about
whatever that
Avengers
story
Inc.
was.
Really bad. That
Oh,
Avengers
man.
Inc. was the worst.
Ugh.
It ended in 5 issues. He said it seemed like it was set up to be a story that would last 10 million because it did nothing, and then it just ended, and then everybody forgot. But there's so many misses after the Immortal Hulk that I can't take it. But
Yeah.
I'm not a big Al Ewing fan either. So, and his last event that Empire was that he did. Was that what it was? That was.
Well, technically, his last event would have been Death Spiral because he was one of the architects.
I know. Yeah. Well, that was nonsense.
I know you like that one.
Yeah, I was sick. I avoided it. You catching me up on it made me sick again, I thought, but I'm not a big fan. So I would go Armageddon if I was Jack.
I probably would too.
Yeah.
And then he says, "So is Mary Jane a murderer or not?" There are lots of arguments over it.
Ooh, give me the Cliff Notes. What happened?
She
I mean,
murdered
too
a
bad.
guy.
Was it Paul?
She grabbed
It's
Torment and dropped
notes.
him off a building to his
Oh.
death. What do you
The
mean?
weird thing is too when Peter.
Oh
was
yeah,
like,
you weren't with
"Listen,"
us.
that when Peter's like, "Oh, it didn't matter, it wasn't you," and she kind of like, I don't know, she kind of seemed pissed off that she wanted it to be about her, like she wants to be a murderer. Weird.
What do you think, Breen? Does that make her a murderer? Just as holding someone over the ledge of a building and dropping them to their death?
Loaded question.
Maybe she thought there was a bouncy house on the ground. I don't know.
Well, I guess the argument could be made, or that people would make, is that it was actually Venom that did it and overrode her or something.
Yeah.
Maybe she thought like Looney Tunes logic, he'd turn into a puddle and then reform.
Maybe. Like, yeah.
He
No,
realized
she's a
an
murderer.
inch
She killed
above
the guy.
and stepped down.
When was the last time Venom ate someone?
That's
Didn't
personal.
Venom used to eat people?
Yes.
Seriously.
But I still consider Jim Gordon a murderer because he put those glasses on from the Riddler and it made him kill the mayor because he was banging his wife. So
Yeah,
I
right.
think it's kind of black and white, right? Does anybody remember that, Jim?
No, nobody. No, nobody
all these
brings
things
up
get
Mayor
memory
Nakano's wife and Mayor Nakano, the worst mayor. He
Yeah.
just didn't. He didn't have
That whole
the-
thing was weird.
Oh, it was so bad. He didn't have the sight to see. He was one-eyed.
When was that?
Even the setup of that was pretty recent.
That was the end of Zdarsky's, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of his Batman run.
Yeah, because the whole thing, he was like part of the A-Day. He lost an eye. But then that kind of, everything was all over the place. And the guy, some of the worst thing, because remember at that point, Batman was losing the city every other day, but it was the mayor as well. And he just let it go.
But things
Yeah,
have
and
really
Riddler made
turned
some
around.
glasses that brainwashed Jim Gordon to go and kill Nakano, but
But-
Jim Gordon was also banging his wife.
Yeah, but then Jim Gordon at the end was like, it wasn't really the glasses. I just killed that guy.
I got a good
But he
idea.
didn't go to jail. He was
now
like
he's a beat
busted
cop.
down to a beat
Yeah, he's a
cop.
beat
Yeah.
cop. And now with Nakano, we realize why that Gotham elected Pamela Isley, Poison Ivy, because boy, it can't get worse than Nakano. He was so bad. Keep going.
I think Bruce Wayne should be mayor of Gotham next. What do you think? Like City of
That would be
Bruce.
more interesting than what they've done.
and like lean into the
Been a
playboy and
senator.
frivolous part of Bruce Wayne. You know what I mean? It's like, I can't
What's that
believe
mean?
we hired this idiot.
But he's been a senator
Yeah.
for one issue and Brave and the Bold in the 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Barbara
You
Gordon
make
was a
him
senator.
mayor of Gotham. At least it would be something different instead of a villain taking over Gotham. Bruce Wayne takes over Gotham.
Yeah. That would be interesting. I mean, Scott Snyder watches our show. So, like, Scott, yeah, I mean, like, give me a credit.
How old is Commissioner Gordon now, or Jim Gordon, or whatever he is now?
310.
Well, he's got white hair currently. We're back to white
Okay.
hair, Jim Gordon, because
Yeah.
they go back and
Maybe in the
forth on that.
60s.
So,
Okay, so he's a 60-something beat cop now.
yep.
Yes.
Yeah, he's hitting the beat.
Well,
Probably
Vandal
wearing a
Savage was
girdle so
commissioner.
his fat belly doesn't hang over his pants.
Walker.
Is he still allowed to smoke?
He has.
Probably.
Recently,
He
yeah.
quit
believe he
cigarettes
is
in the new.
smoking, yeah.
He quit cigarettes with the Bat Bunny, and that was the part of that was one of my favorite parts of Bat Bunny, was Jim Gordon quitting cigarettes and getting back into shape.
My favorite part was when he performed at the halftime show.
Yes.
All right. The Kai Jeremiah wants to know, what omnibus or deluxe hardcover are you planning on getting this year? I just pre-ordered Volume 2 of John Ostrander's Spectre. I'm debating on Absolute Batman White Knight.
I have already pre-ordered Volume 3 of the Triangle Era Omnibus. Oh, already got that. I think that comes out in August, but I already pre-ordered that, so excited for that.
That's the one.
Yeah.
What's on your to-do list, Breen?
I am getting the Legends Omnibus. That was one of my favorite miniseries, the one that followed the Crisis. And it has the 6 issues and all of the other issues that had the Legends banner going across. And the Bronze Age Batman. It runs through the early 70s, like the first Ra's al Ghul and
This,
a lot of
the
O'Neill and
Neil
Adams
Adams
stuff.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, because now like I said, since I'm selling off the collection again, it's like, what do I want to read again? In the Triangle eras, at some point, I'd like to get those because those were really good. But yeah, those two are, I pretty much what's on my radar for this year.
Very good. Sully, you got big plans on a deluxe hardcover omnibus?
I do the opposite. I actually just passed on the Skybound Image compendium of the G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, the IDW years. I'm going to buy something else instead because that's a chunk of money. I'm going to get a Bose sound stick or sound. What is that thing you could put on the bottom of your TV?
Soundbar.
A sound bar. Yeah. I want a sound bar, a Bose. And I'm like, that's the money I'm going to spend there. That and getting a picture with Mel Gibson, who's coming to Fan Expo Boston. I'm going to do that too. That's going to be about $100 or more.
Dylan,
But-
before this guy got a girlfriend, he would have got the book, and now he's all interested in sound bars and Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
What is
Hate
going
to
on
say
with
that.
that guy?
I got
Bitches
an
love
ultra-
Mel Gibson.
I got an
Yeah.
Ultra 4K box set of Game of Thrones, and it looks great on my Ultra 4K TV. Now I need the sound to go with it.
It just feels like
You
your
know.
priorities are all shit now.
But as the collections go, I like the DC Finest series. I think I'm hoping that there's another Wonder Woman for the Golden Age that complete the opening of Wonder Woman, the Charles Woolston years. I would love that if there's one more in there because I got 2 of them and they're worth it. $40 for all these awesome Golden Age books. But usually I'm not omni-buy curious anymore because the only omnibus I got really is the Kirby Fourth World. That's 9.6 pounds. It is such a burden to read. I can't read it on the train. I can't read it at bed at night because it's too heavy. You have to.
Shaming.
What? No, man. Oh, you changed, Sully.
You have changed.
I wished you better when you were an angry misogynist.
Yeah. You were so much cooler when you were an angry misogynist that was like, yeah, I got to get this next omnibus. Give me the sound
That
bars,
next,
my girl
next
likes
omnibus
like
with
Game of
strong
Thrones
men in it.
collection.
Well, there's a DC Finest that just got. I saw in the new release shelf. It's Death in the Family, and that just leapt off at the shelf to me. And I'm like, ooh, I want that. But it's just like how many copies of Death in the Family have I owned in this life? Probably 3, with the original floppies and 2 trade paperbacks along the way. you know.
Yeah, but when else are you going to see the freaking Joker as the ambassador to Iran?
Yeah.
Ugh, fucking great. He's writing cables and shit. Oh, it was a better time. Good stuff. Jim, you got any omnibus or?
I thought you were just going to
Hardcovers?
skip me, knowing that I've
No.
never ever bought an omnibus or a hardcover, and would be continuing that this year. Now, I've had some things sent to me that are they get destroyed. I can't keep care. I don't take care of things, and I read everything digitally. So that's the deal.
There is.
I had somebody
hardcover.
sent me like the artist edition of Born Again, and
Uh-huh.
it is still in pristine condition despite having 3 children, Jim.
Well, that's pretty good. My stuff ends up. I used to, back in the day when I'd get review copies at that point from DC, they would send you the physical copies of the books each week as well. You'd get this big package each week. So I would just go, and they never made it out of the package. They were in my basement that I'm in now, and that got flooded. Those got destroyed. A guy sent me a bunch of like really nice hardcover stuff. I believe those just got thrown away. I don't know. I can't keep care of myself, let alone, an omnibus or a hardcover. So the only thing I do have still is the Batwang issue. I do have that still. And
I also have that.
Yeah, I have that
Yeah.
tucked away. But that's about it.
My 6-year-old is really into Super Sons right now, so I wouldn't mind getting him like the big full collection of Peter J. Tomasi's legendary Super Sons series.
Very cool.
You're not going to talk crap on Peter J. Tomasi like you always do?
Oh.
No, I'll save that for later.
Okay.
I
But
think
he really likes that.
I think he's a great character work guy. I think that his characters are impeccable, but I just don't love a lot of his storytelling. Yeah, that's how I'll throw shade.
I will
And
say
then they're
that,
really into Ben 10 right now. Are there good Ben
Ooh.
10 comic books?
I think there's one coming out.
Yeah, there's one
Really?
coming out. I think this is like the first big Ben 10 comic that they're doing now. I don't
Ever?
think there's a whole lot of Ben 10 comics out. Yeah.
What'd you
Not that I
think
know
about
of, at
it?
least. That art looks so bad that it like turned me off.
Okay.
Also, like
But I know you got a review copy.
I haven't read it.
Oh.
Yeah, I've not read Ben 10. That art was really bad, and then also hearing like sort of like the retcon of what they're doing with Ben's parents and stuff didn't get me excited. I'll probably eventually read it, but I have not been itching to read it as much as I love
Yeah.
Ben 10.
My 10-year-old finally moved on from the original series, and now we're watching like Ben 10 Alien something, where Ben's like 20 years old, and the cousin has powers, and her
Yeah,
boyfriend
she's like a
is
Green Lantern, basically. Yeah.
yeah. The boyfriend touches anything, and he's like an
Kevin
Osmosian or
Levin.
something. Yeah, and there's no grandpa. The story loses all of its magic without the grandpa, Dylan.
Yeah, without Grandpa Max.
Yeah. He's
Even
like
there.
basically not even there. So my wife and I both told him, he's like, you got to stop watching this crap. Go watch the good stuff. Like this isn't. But he's trying to power his way through all of it.
there's a hardcover coming out in June that I'm going to pick up. It's volume 2 of Michel Fife's Copra collected, and it's reminding me that hey, you don't have volume 1 either. So I'm gonna there are 2 hardcovers that I will pick up, and I'm gonna wait for a sale to at my local comic book shop, but and buy it there instead of buying it on Amazon. But that's something that really caught my attention. I loved Death of Copra last year. That was an amazing comic book, and it just makes me it made me realize that I fell off of it, and I need to go back and catch up and own those. Those are beautiful books.
Why'd you fall off the book? Why did you decide you didn't like it anymore?
Well, they were borrowed. I mean, a friend of mine lent. I had a really good friendship with a bartender at this restaurant, at the last restaurant I worked with. We would exchange comic books, like every 2 weeks. We would give each other like stuff we were just trying to turn each other on to. And Copra was one of those books he gave me. That and Matt Kint's Mind Management too, which was I ended up
That's
really
a brilliant book.
That's a really good book. I would never have read either of these books if it wasn't for having this like really good exchange with another comic book fan. He had a shop in downtown Boston, Comicopia, and it's by Fenway Park, and that's where his pull was, and he was just, I'm getting access to these books I would never have read. So it's like that's part of that. That's the only reason why I fell off, was because we had I stopped working there and I didn't get my exchange anymore.
Well, very nice. A little bonus one. We do have some time to get to the main topic this week, and Robert Kirkman has been basking in the glory not only of obviously The Walking Dead that he created, but Invincible has come back in a big way. A lot of it thanks to the Amazon Prime cartoon that's out there, and I think he was the keynote speaker at Comics Pro, and he said that he thinks the biggest impediment to the American comic book industry specifically moving forward is the over-reliance on characters created in the 30s, the 60s, the 80s, or even the 2000s. That the fact that Batman and Superman and your X-Men characters can't have a final story and kind of go away doesn't leave room for new characters and new voices to really come in and rise up, and it's holding American comic books back. Breen, you've been here a long time. You've been reading longer than any of us. What did you think about his hypothesis? Do you really think the fact that we still have Batman after almost close to over 80 years at this point is a bad thing for American comic books?
Yes and no. We'll start with Batman. I don't know what's left to be told. There are certain things that have happened in over the years in the mythos. Like at some point, somebody needed to take out the Joker once and for all. It would make for a great story, whether it would have been Batman himself or Jim Gordon or Barbara Gordon. And that's so it would be nice if you could have final stories like Fantastic Four 200 when Reed finally defeats Doctor Doom. In a perfect world, Doctor Doom is never seen again. But it's comics. These characters have to go on and on and on. Same thing with like when Spider-Man, fought Green Goblin after he killed Gwen. Those kind of things. So when you've got fictional characters that exist in perpetuity, every great story eventually gets undone. And you get versions of the character that you inevitably are not going to like. So in that regard, he's right. But on the other hand, if you take those characters off of the canvas, all those other characters you're trying to elevate probably aren't going to make it, because there's a reason why some of these characters have lasted almost 90 years, or in the case like Spider-Man, well over 60, because that's what the people overwhelmingly want. Now, unfortunately, it's led to an over-reliance on those characters. It's hard to get. You take DC, for example. They just started a new Firestorm series. And that's in 2026, that's probably considered a risk, because when I started, they were dropping new characters left and right. I mean, I remember like when the first year I was reading, Nova was introduced, Ms. Marvel,
Ghost Rider.
the other ones, that I'm forgetting, but you rarely see that anymore, because I mean, DC tried it with New 52, and after an initial success, within a year, almost all of the chances that they'd taken had already fallen by the wayside for a greater emphasis on Bat books, Justice League books, Superman books, etc. So they always default back to the big boys. And I don't know what the answer is, but you can't take them away and expect the industry to grow because you're offering more new characters. You got to figure out a way like they used to be able to do 50, 60 years ago, and have both. Maybe a few less Bat titles and sprinkle in a few new characters that you're trying to get off the ground. Maybe not do a major initiative like New Age of Heroes, and then 3 months in, sign Brian Michael Bendis and give every ad space that was going to those new titles to Big Bendis is coming, and cut the legs out from under what you're trying to do. So I don't know. You have to be a smarter man than me is going to have to come up with the answer to that. But I think the answer is somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that DC and the big two, they don't know how to introduce new characters either. They end up,
More.
instead of developing them naturally and then having, oh my God, this character that was in a Batman book, and people really like him or her. They just end up, the character shows up, everybody says, oh my God, they're the greatest thing ever. And then they give them a solo series right away, and then it doesn't sell. And then they use that as, and even with, characters like Blue Beetle, they'll give it to a really not great writer. And then when it doesn't sell, they use that as justification of it's the character that doesn't sell instead of the writer. And it's bad. I remember when I first started doing podcasts and things, yeah, everybody's always saying there's too many Batman books. But I used to say, like, for every Batman book that would sell at that point over 100,000, you could then afford to do 3 of these little books and hope that they work because of the way it evens out. But with the shrinking market, I think they're even worse. Like the idea of, like, we can't afford to do these characters, but it's just odd that the overall, it's like, if you're I was in a cover band in college, so we'd play cover songs, but we wanted to start doing our own songs, but we were afraid then people wouldn't like them. So we didn't, but then we didn't get anywhere because, and that's how it kind of feels like to me. You got to do more than I don't think it's Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman, that they're not the problem. It's the problem of just over relying on them now because of the shrinking market and not wanting to give chances. But DC, with this new, all in deal, they're at least doing some things. So I hope they continue. But you got to get good writers like Firestorm. You get Jeff Lemire, pretty damn good. If you end up getting Mariko Tamaki, that's done. And stuff like that. And it's a shame.
Yet another problem. It's again, going back to 50 years ago when I started. If you had a good idea for a character, you would introduce it to the company you were working for. No one thought about, ownership, rights, fees, whatever, creator, creative, what they call creator owned. And now if you're a writer and you have a great idea for a character, the last place you're going to introduce them is at Marvel or DC. You're going to take it, for yourself. But then when you do that, you don't have you don't have the backing of Marvel and DC. You're not integrating that into a well-established universe. So it's hard to get those characters off the ground in most cases. I mean, obviously Robert Kirkman, which is why he's feels qualified to say this. He has done twice in this century what pretty much no one else has done once. Yeah, because I would argue that Walking Dead and Invincible are the 2 biggest properties introduced into comics in the 21st century, and they're both him. But not everybody has that luxury, and there are a lot of great stuff that's never going to sell anywhere near what those do, or what yet another Batman or another Spider-Man title is going to sell.
The other thing that it was brought up last week about Ghostmaker, a new character, and I think also that people don't stay around long enough. Like, you end up that's a James Tynion character. He leaves, and then nobody wants to use it because it's a James Tynion character, so it just kind of gets pushed aside. People don't really stay around as long, and it's amazing when you do go through back issues and you get through like 5 issues of Batman, and in that 5 issues they've introduced 3 villains that are still 3 of the biggest villains ever. Like, they come hot and heavy at points, and it's amazing. But they also had stories around them. Now it seems like when they want to introduce a character, there's no story around it. It's just shoving it down your throat of Captain America saying, "Oh, then that's the greatest character I ever met. Oh my goodness," and that doesn't work. But I don't think they wanted the big 2 won't be patient enough for the characters to develop anyway. So that's why I think they do that shortcut.
No, and that's true. And I said, if the major characters went away, in a perfect world, more people would discover new things like Ghost Machine, but that wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
You just lose even more people because they. It's like if you go into a place that you've gone to for years because they make great steaks, and they no longer have steak on the menu, there's a better chance you're going to go look for another restaurant than to try what they're what they.
But if they still made steaks, you might try the spaghetti.
There you go.
You know what I mean? So that
What were you saying, Dylan?
Reference,
I was
Sully.
just saying, it's a bit ironic that Kirkman's saying this when he Battle Beast, a character who has an end that he killed, he brought back for an ongoing series. It's like, how are you saying this when you're doing it? You're part
He
of the
just brought back
problem.
Capes, which is in the Invincible universe, and
Yeah.
everything feels like he's about to bring Invincible back, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. With how which he'd be stupid not to with how popular Invincible is right now. Like it makes sense. It's just ironic for him to be the one saying these things. But yeah, I pretty much agree with what everyone's been saying that there is an over reliance on Batman, but also the comic book industry is much different than others, so it makes sense why you still have these characters around. But it's like I remember when they announced their DC Elseworlds titles, and they announced, I don't know, something like 8 titles, and 6 of them were Batman. It's like, okay, that's kind of ridiculous. But lately, DC's done better with Next Level and everything, and bringing back some characters that haven't had the spotlight in a while. But getting over new characters feels impossible for the most part. And you have like those people that do create like more new stories and new characters, like Rick Remender goes and does them, over in his own independent line instead of doing them at Marvel or DC. So you lose that. But man, Tynion was creating a new character like every issue, and none of them stuck at all.
Molly, you don't like her?
Yeah. And we got Miracle Molly in the Underboss.
The designer,
book, right? Yeah. The gardener, I think, was in there.
Gardner.
You know what else was kind of ironic there, Dylan, is he's also out there saying that the success of Absolute Batman, one of these characters that's been around for almost 90 years now, is the driving force in why all the indie, especially Image books, are selling better than they have in quite some time.
Yep. I saw a clip of him also. He's on some podcast recently where he's like, yeah, Absolute Batman's good. They should cancel every other Bat book and just have Absolute Batman. That's what he was saying. It's like, I don't think that's a good idea either. I don't think you need 800 Batman books, but I don't think having just Absolute Batman would be a wise decision.
Absolute Batman's good because it's there with the others and you have an alternative.
Yeah. But I found a lot of what he was saying there ironic, because they are dependent on the big characters to bring interest in. But where I can kind of get with him there, Sully, is like you have a character like Hawkman.
Yeah.
Been around for a very long time.
80 years.
Really cool character. Really complex history. Robert Venditti goes there, fleshes out the history, puts all the pieces together, and makes it completely cohesive to why he started doing what he's doing, why he's resurrecting across different lives on different planets, because he needs to redeem himself and save as many lives as he took, as he was like this evil general back in the day. And in the end, he's redeemed. He's with Hawkwoman, and he's achieved his mission. Now he's finally done. Maybe that character should have ended there. Maybe that's the last time we should see Hawkman. That is an ending, and it's the perfect ending, right?
Yeah, but then you have to undo what you've the previous writer has done, and you have to give the next writer the toys to play with to make or break. And I mean, that would have been a good, endpoint to, why not retire these characters? Didn't they just kill off Ted Grant, the Wildcat?
Yes, they did, JSA. But also, to counter that point, prior to Venditti coming on, so many people be like, oh, you should have just ended Hawkman before because he's been around for decades and decades and decades and decades and decades. It's like, well, if you would have ended prior, we would have never gotten that great story from Venditti. So it's like, even characters that have been around forever, like Hawkman, that great story could still be out there.
Yeah, and also Hawkman's got this kind of Doctor Who quality. Doctor Who is a regeneration, and you can put a new actor in the lead role. So, I mean, Hawkman, you can just kill him, and then what's his superpower? He gets reborn, and because of his karma, he's got to atone. And, there's got to be something else, and he could be anyone. I like Hawkman as a character. I like, and especially Hawkwoman. I like Hawkwoman. I like Shayera a lot better than Kendra, especially like modern Kendra.
I do not like Hawkgirl at all. We didn't need the Jadzia Axelrod Hawkgirl.
After Jeff Johns solved her whole parent situation, it's like, all right, now we're good. It feels like she kind of lost everything after that. It's like, all right, she solved her trauma. Now it didn't feel like there was much else to do with the character. No one's really figured anything out.
Yeah, but if they were maybe we wouldn't be getting this Firestorm series right now that, one issue in, but people seem to be really intrigued what they're going to do with Firestorm under Jeff Lemire. And if you said, oh, no, the character's done, we had his time to shine, maybe you wouldn't get a better story at some point.
Yeah, yeah. And allowing these characters to actually progress and change a little bit over time is big. Like that's what was nice about with Superman Rebirth. It's like, oh, this is a new era for Superman. This is Clark and Lois being parents. This is cool. And then they're like, let's take all that away. Or like the annoying thing with Spider-Man is like he's constantly got to be a loser that can't figure anything out ever. It's like, okay, I think Spider-Man can advance past this.
Yeah, I think that's what's actually bothering people. It's this, you've had Spider-Man in this arrested state of development where they won't let the character grow. And at that point, it's like, what are we doing here? We're just spinning our wheels, and we're just looking at the same flawed version of the character that wasn't as good as the one before that, and he needs to go somewhere else, but they won't allow him to. So in that case, I can kind of understand where he's coming from, but I don't think
I hate the idea.
problem.
I hate when, though, because these characters have been around so long, you end up having a writer come in and it's like, oh man, you've never seen this. And there's a reason, because it sucks. But they have no other, like, that's their stamp on it. Like, I'm going to do it. Happens like somebody comes in like Mariko Tamaki. Again, I don't know why I keep centering on her, but the idea of Bruce Wayne, no money, Batman, like we've seen it already. It doesn't work. And it's just, and yet again, you end up forcing things in that lead to like, they hinder the heroes because they want to do something new, and it just doesn't work in my mind. But
well, I think you have to do something new that makes sense for the character.
Yeah, they just come in with their crazy ideas.
Yeah.
So.
There's so many times through the years where there are certain things that companies have set up as just the way it is. It's like if you read Peanuts, you don't want to see the little red-haired girl, because that blows the whole thing. If Miss Othmar, if you can actually understand what she's saying, it blows the deal. It's like, Marvel. I'll use the Inhumans as an example. Not only did Black Bolt not talk, you never saw a thought balloon back when you were allowed to do those. And I can't remember what numbnuts changed that and had him hanging out in a prison with the Absorbing Man chatting up like a couple of school kids. But it's we find out that Galactus was the herald of some. No, it's like Jim said. Sometimes just because something's never been done doesn't mean you need to do it. And that's. But I think another thing. One of the problems this hobby has are the people on this panel. Some of us have been reading this for so long that they can't put anything new by us that we either haven't seen or understand why we hadn't seen it to that point. Maybe if like I said, if the fandom turned over every 5 years, maybe you could get away with easing back on some of these main characters and trying to get people to be excited about new ones, because they don't have the shared history of these characters for half of their lives and half of our lives and whatnot.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. I think the writers they're not fans of comics.
Oh no, not
so
one
you end
bit.
up where we've read more, and when you know more than the person getting paid to do it,
yeah, because the ones who are get punished, like Jeff Johns, like he had the. Well, I mean, also Mark Waid he has the encyclopedia of DC up in his head too, and he does. Personal feelings aside, he does write really good DC superhero stories, even to this day. So there's that. They got Jeremy Adams too, who loves superheroes. Yeah, he loves this.
That shows.
Yeah, it really does.
I also find it ironic that Robert Kirkman, is the one saying this. And obviously, he's had the big successes, but the biggest success going on right now, at least within comic books and Skybound, is the Hasbro stuff, Transformers and G.I. Joe, that have been around for over 40 years. And they're promoting Transformers and G.I. Joe as the biggest books at Image Comics. They're not promoting the Ghost Machine stuff, which is all new material, which is all very high quality and just as good, if not better, than the Skybound Hasbro stuff. But they're not promoting that. They're promoting the stuff that everybody knows.
Right. Or the Remender stuff. Remender has his Image imprint too.
Giant Generator.
Giant Generator. And like we just finished Sacrificers this week. Brilliant book. What was that one, Jim? The Napalm Lullaby? Was that it?
Yeah.
It was kind of over my head a bit. But yeah,
but he's got Escape right now. That's a cool book.
Oh yeah,
they're not promoting Escape.
Okay, that was a suggestion you made to me a couple weeks ago.
No, that was
Dylan
probably
did too.
Dylan.
That was Dylan. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to pick that. I'm
Really good.
I'm going to go to my shop today. It's across
Yeah.
the street from
It
the
comes
Italian
back-
restaurant.
It comes
Yeah.
back this month. It was on hiatus for like a month or two, and it comes
Your
back at
girlfriend
the end of
letting
this
you go?
month.
But I've changed my mind. I am going to my shop on Free Comic Book Day, and I'm going, and I'm because I'm hunting for. I want the Energon special, but they're gonna put that's gonna be on sale next week for like $3.99. It's like the whole thing of Free Comic Book Day today. I had no reason to go because that's the one book I wanted, and I can just pick it up off the shelf. I don't care, So it saved me a trip. I've already been there once this week, but they're having a 25% off everything sale. And so, taking my own advice, I'm going to buy that Copra hardcover book today. I'm going to do that. Save 25%. Go to your local comic book shop. Free Comic Book Day. Celebrate. Buy something.
And get the Marvel ASM specials. Apparently, there's going to be a big reveal about who this
Really?
first cousin is, or something like that.
And I'm bringing my girlfriend. It'll be her first time in my local comic book shop.
That's a true test, Sully. To see
It
if she's
is.
in this for the long haul.
It's right across the street from the Italian restaurant where we have reservations at tonight. So I'm like, honey,
Fazoli's?
I'll buy. Yeah, you don't want to dox myself, but no, I'm going to get the chicken parm because it's like last time I got the veal parm, and there was more breading than beef, and it tasted like hospital food. And I was like, okay, I'll give it a second chance, but I'm getting the chicken parm tonight. Yeah. You'll get a nice.
Maybe you shouldn't get the parm. Maybe you should get the.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for
lasagna
parm.
or
Oh,
But you know that they do parm bad.
Well, the veal parm, you're supposed to pound of the veal cutlet and bread, but it was so runty, it was so thin, it was just like, and they didn't properly season the breading, so it's like that's the worst thing your friend Sully can say about a restaurant experience. It tasted like hospital food, but my girlfriend likes the place, and I'd be like, oh, it's right across the street from this shop. Okay, let's go. And so I will go to my local comic book shop today on Free Comic Book Day. I will get some free funny books. She can get me 2 more comic books, or she can pick them out and keep them for herself, but I can get 2 more books.
Absolutely.
I thought you were
dude.
going to
Bringing in a
pretend you were
ringer.
going to the bathroom and sneak out. Sneak across the street.
Oh, no way, man. I can't, because she got too much of her stuff over my place, man.
But Image has a lot of good stuff that doesn't really get publicized or marketed at the expense of, properties that have been around for 40, 30, 20 years.
Man.
So, I don't know. I like Kirkman. I think he's done some really great stuff, and he should be very, proud of his achievements. But I felt like maybe he was the wrong messenger in this one.
Well, I mean, what is he really saying? Is he saying that, he's also talking about innovation too, about how to deliver the comics? Is he saying that the big two really need to change from floppies to something else? Is like
with his manga to anime or manga to American
I was
comic
reading
book thing.
because Wes sends us show notes, and I'm like one of the only ones that does their homework. And so
Sure.
I read I'm reading the article about Kirkman, and he's like, it's like he's saying that Superman needs to be to adapt, needs to become more like Invincible in a way. And
I think he's mentioning, or he's saying it from the perspective of when they adapted the Invincible comic books, they did it pretty faithfully in the show. So when you watch the show, you go to the comic books, it's basically the same thing. And DC Warner Brothers don't really do that. Like, you can't go from a DC cartoon to a comic book seamlessly.
Right. Okay.
In that case, I think he's 100% correct.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you combine that with what Mark Miller said before, where you got to get some of the bigger writers back. Because even, you can say all along, oh, man, we need new characters. But if you don't have good writers, it's not going to work. It just won't. And that's kind of been proven. And as I said, I hate, if you had Hawkman and you ended up having Teenie Howard do it, it's probably going to fail, and they'll never blame Teenie Howard. They'll blame Hawkman, and then he gets put away again, and that sucks. Now, if you have Mark Miller do a Hawkman book and it doesn't work and nobody's selling, then you can kind of say, well, it may not sell. There's some characters and teams and things like that just don't sell. But mostly, again, it's that there's no bad characters, there's bad writers, but,
I think you've got an angle there that's interesting, Jim, because if you want to make your name at DC Comics, you're going to make your name on Batman or Superman or one of these characters that already exists, and your hard work is going to generate money that ends up going to, the estate
Them.
of the original creators. It's not really going to go into your pocket. There's no room to make the next, tentpole DC character as long as those guys are there. So why even try it at DC Comics? You should try it, outside, like a Kirkman did or a Mark Miller did. Create those characters, sell them off to somebody else, and make your own bag, because it's not going to happen at DC. There's no room.
They have to come up with a way to get them more incentive based, and they won't.
Royalties and points.
Yeah, something like that, whatever it would be. But again, with a shrinking market, it seems that's tough to do as well. So they gotta get the basic books down, get those strong enough that they could support these littler, books and new things. But it said you gotta introduce these characters and let them naturally progress. You can't just have a solo issue of a character that nobody knows. Nobody's going to get it.
No more Naomi.
Unless it's by a big character, a big writer.
But they tried that coming out of Dark Knight's Metal. And they had the New Age of Heroes. And yes, there were a few heroes that we'd see, but a lot of them were brand new iterations that, were new concept with really good writers. You had Scott Snyder in there. You had Robert Venditti. You had a lot of the bigger name writers, and none of them worked. They were all canceled, I think, except for in the Terrifics.
Yeah.
And there was one other book that kind of lasted longer than 12 months, but the rest of them were all canceled immediately.
Yeah, you stepped out when we were talking about that. Right in the middle of that was when they signed Bendis, and then all of the promotion went to him. All those pages in the comics that were promoting New Age of Heroes had Bendis is coming instead. And they just, and Jim Lee, doing what he always does, not finishing anything. And it's just like they as a company just kind of seem to lose interest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and even at that point, you had the Doomsday Clock was delayed. You had a lot of problems. But they even had, remember, with City Boy and Spirit World and those things, they threw those out. And again, it's like, this is what you're doing. But even Ram V had, I forget what his book was called, but they had those three. I like City Boy enough, Spirit World, that tank. But they have their mini series and they disappear. So.
What was that thing?
Yeah, well, it was a team. It was that team. I can't remember. The Vigil?
The Vigil, yes.
Yeah,
We Are Legends was the...
We Are Legends.
Yeah. The initiative.
Wasn't Alyssa Long, like, leading it? That was a weird choice. But I liked City Boy enough. He was kind of fun. But
Oh, it's just hard to believe City Boy ever becoming the next Superman.
Well, that's the thing I was just going to say. I'm not buying City Boy before I buy Superman or Batman. Well, City Boy. But he'd be kind of cool in a team. He reads the city, right? The junk. Hey.
What was City Boy about, Jim?
It was a kid who ended up getting, of the power to read junk and trinkets. And it was like Danny the Street, but not. And it was weird. It was weird, but it tied into Doomsday and things like that. So they could have him be bit. Next thing we know, City Boy, the biggest character ever. Him and double XL. They could hang. They got the hype men going. It was
I like
weird
XL.
too.
He's got a good design.
I like him a lot.
You just never saw him for 4 years.
No. I always.
But there's been so many big characters. You had remember. A Punchline was the replacement for Harley Quinn. She was going to be bigger than Harley Quinn and all that stuff. You never see that character anymore. No. Flatline has a great design.
Flatline was cool, and Flatline kind of developed in a way that it didn't seem like she was being pushed until, all of a sudden everybody liked her and could have been even more. Kind of, I don't know. In the Batman and Robin deal, she kind of got nerded a bit by Joshua Williamson, with her sister showing up and things like that. But I think she's coming back soon. Some team or something.
Yeah, what about Naomi, Jim? They weren't even committed to the Bendis character.
I mean, Batman and Superman said she was an Omega character, and her second appearance, she was on the cover leading the Justice League. It was ridiculous. She had a TV show. Yeah. Nobody even mentions her ever. And she was like the biggest thing for a hot weekend. Yeah.
Oh, Flatline is going to be in the new Red Hood Titans book.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. But remember, Naomi, the whole problem with Naomi is they never really gave her a power set. She kept saying, I just got my powers yesterday. That was her tagline. Every time I just got my powers yesterday. They just kept adding powers. She had like America Chavez powers, but also it was a mess. Crazy.
I do think that Marvel and DC are at the point, Dylan, where they literally can't afford to drop these characters.
Yeah, no, because these are the only
You
ones
have to
that
plan
are.
this out.
Yeah, it would be hard. It's like we we're talking about. It's really hard to get new characters over, especially if you dropped all the current characters that are actually selling, even a little bit they are. Would not be good at all for the industry.
What's the last character that could reliably have big time sales? Is it Deadpool?
As far as a new character, oh, it might be Deadpool.
It probably is. Deadpool's not a new character anymore. Hasn't been for a while. Yeah. I think it's a lot harder than it sounds to get a character over and make them reliable sellers. And you do need the talent. And I'm fairly certain that Marvel and DC don't have enough of that.
To your point, the last, I might be wrong on this, but the last Batman, the last character introduced to the Batman mythos that is truly taken their place with as an equal across the board is Harley Quinn. You have to go back over 30 years, and would that have happened without the cartoon first? So that's again very difficult to get any new characters over to
Harley Quinn was a pretty good seller there for like 4 or 5 years though.
But I said but it also, like I said, had the built-in success of the animated series or whichever one she started in. I'm not a cartoon guy, so I don't know which one it was, but because they've introduced a ton of back characters since then. I don't know that any of them have, they're certainly not even like household names within the comic book circle.
Well, the household name would be Damian as Robin, but I don't think Damian could really hold out like a 50-issue series and have it be a good seller, or let alone a great seller.
But wouldn't you say that? Okay, but here's my point though. If you ask, a normie, like Harley Quinn could probably come close to passing the Nana test. Mm-hmm. Damian wouldn't.
Yeah. No. My mom knows who Harley Quinn is.
There you go.
And she's a bitch. So I just wanted to throw that out in case she's listening. But no, she knows who Harley Quinn is, and she's like 70. She would not. I'd say Damian. She'd probably I don't know what she would think. There's no way.
Yeah. Interesting conversation. I like having fun what ifs there. We do have some people chiming in. We got HH and the family over at Sigma Comics. Greetings, Satan Critical team from El Paso Comic Con. AL wishing you strength during these difficult times. Guys, show her support, and also Calico Unwanted Men. Absolutely, dude. Thank you so much for supporting the channel and sponsoring today's live stream, dude. And hopefully you are selling Calico by the tonnage.
By the pound.
On the con scene. Yeah.
He always sells out. By the end of today, get yours now. If you're in at the El Paso Comic Con, get yours early, because tomorrow, chances are, he's going to be there with a big old smile on his face because his table's empty.
Dude, when I was little, the only thing I knew about El Paso is that's where they made salsa.
Yeah.
Remember?
New York City.
New York City. Oh, man. You had to get the old El Paso.
Yeah. El Paso. How salsa should taste.
Thank you so much to HH. We got the Web Slinger. Do you think Robert Kirkman is woke?
A little bit. Sure.
Probably, yeah.
Based on his comments about all the changes for the adaptation in the animated, it's like, oh, we were just young white guys. Doop-a-doo. I just fuck off.
Yeah, he's got the same guilt that every edgy early 2000s writer has. Like nowadays, you talk to any about those guys about that, they all have this sort of guilt. Yeah, besides Mark Millar, that's basically it. Any of them will be like, yeah, Reggie, blah, blah, and but it's
same thing happened to Jerry Doug and everybody. Yeah. I think when you're in that ecosystem, people just make you feel bad. You didn't do it the way that they think that you should have.
Yeah. Or you end up, making comic books on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah, and
to
he's
fit in
making
over there.
money hand over fist. I'm assuming on The Walking Dead and
Mhm.
the success of Invincible. So that is his community now. He's less of a comic book guy and more of a multimedia Hollywood kind of guy.
Yeah.
And those are the kind of people you're going to be around.
When it
Yeah.
comes to being the indie dream, it's the Kirkman is who's the standard? Is it Mark Miller or is it Robert Kirkman? It might be
Well,
Kirkman.
it's Mark Miller's because he sold his entire company for that much money to Netflix. Like everybody
Mhm.
wants that deal.
Right. But Kirkman also, I mean, isn't Kirkman like the most successful independent publisher in comics history? Is that the case? I've heard that before. I'm asking. What do you guys think?
Well, Invincible never really sold great. I mean, The Walking Dead sold
Walking Dead.
amazing.
Yeah. I mean, he keeps that
But
in print
Invincible
too.
obviously was successful, but it wasn't like an enormous success like The Walking Dead was.
Mm.
And if you look at his other stuff from Skybound, it's a lot of misses. He's had some books here and there that have been pretty decent, but nothing ever really broke out like that. So maybe I would be surprised. I mean, Mark Miller obviously does much shorter runs on his books, where Invincible is like 150 issues. Mark Miller's Kick-Ass is less than probably 35, the whole thing. Right? What are you doing, Sully? You just abandoned the fucking conversation? We're trying to have
No.
a
I was waiting for
conversation here.
Breen. I was waiting for Breen to chime in, or Dylan to finally say something. I was waiting for Dylan to bust my balls. I thought Dylan was gonna come at me with a witty comment or something.
Yeah,
hoping my
call him gay, Dylan. What are you doing? Leaving
Oh,
his fucking
another-
dead air.
one of your Sully sus takes or something. But no, I mean, I was a huge fan of Walking Dead, man. That was a great book.
What'd you
Yeah,
think
I
of the
mean,
TV show?
I bailed on it. I bailed on it at Terminus. It was at the end of season 3 when they're all in the train car together, and because it went off. Because this is this is Carl's story. It's not really Rick's story. It's Carl's story. Carl is the hero of Walking Dead. In that final issue, I love that final issue. That was a great way to end the book. And but you lost a lot of the magic in the adaptation because it became a Hollywood show. Maybe too many chefs when it had that singular kind of like manga vision, just like a writer and artist, just that's where its big strength is. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah. And plus Mondays on Twitter were hell if you were trying to watch that show because every normie in the world spoiled every single thing every Monday morning. And it was just impossible to stay tuned to that show for me. I was like, let it go.
Yeah. But I think, Mark Miller and obviously Kirkman are the successes that I think a lot of indie people want to be. Sell the whole company off to somebody else to acquire it or, create big shows for different channels.
Mm-hmm.
What else we got here? We do have a little conversation following up on what we did last week without Sully, which was a whole lot of fun. We talked about who our number one comic writer in the industry was last week. I want to talk about who our number one comic artist in the industry is this week. Sully, if you want, you can name your favorite writer right now, but I'd hope you'd embellish more the artist side of it. Who's your number one? Who's your go-to, your ride or die?
Well, my number one writer got to be Jeremy Adams, just because it's like, when it comes to DC Comics, I just want to say, this is a Wendy's, sir. You're going to, you just want a really good square cheeseburger with bacon on it. You know what I mean? And in a Frosty to dip your fries in. I mean, this is a Wendy's, sir. It's DC Comics. It's very simple. Tell superhero stories with the familiar characters in character voice. I get that from Jeremy Adams consistently. I love his work, and he's my choice for best writer because he entertains me, and I will spend money on him, and I will follow him if he does any more like independent stuff. I want to see what other stories do you have outside of the familiar stuff. So I mean, I'm looking forward to that eventually. But my favorite comic book artist right now is Nick Klein. I love his work. I love I've been turned on to his work. I'm going to say it, Jim. I'm going to say it. Onomatopoeia. sound effects. He draws them by hand.
Hand-drawn.
They are part of the art and the background. They don't look like a repetitive cut and paste just put on top of an image by your colorist or your letterer. I mean, it's got charm. It's got and it's just he's so good on Hulk.
But he misses so many issues.
Yeah, but when we get him, it's just magic for me. And so I mean, and that's part of comics too. It's just there are fill-in artists, and you know, if getting 6 issues of Nick Klein, there's a balance there. I mean, and I'm willing to take that. And plus, some of the fill-in artists on Hulk right now are pretty good. So, but yeah, Nick Klein, hands down, is got to be my favorite artist right now.
Is your ride or die?
The what? Yeah, I mean, I come very close to going to that auction house and buying a page of his original art, and it's gonna happen one of these days.
You should do it.
I deserve it. I really do.
You do
love
deserve
this
it.
stuff.
You took your girl to a B&B in Florida for a rug and tug. You're good.
Oh my goodness! Actually, you know, most of my family. You know,
you shouldn't bring them for the rub and tug. That's not good.
Exactly. No, yeah. I mean, no, but it was like
five knuckle shuffles with the family around.
But real quick,
shuffle's not good.
Here's something though, real quick. I brought my first cousin Sean, his son, his 7-year-old, his oldest, Declan. He's the next generation Sully. He's the legacy Sully, and I brought him some comic books. I brought him 2 Superman comic books, like the modern kind of Superman. So they're very kid-like. But then I gave him a comic book that I got when I was 7. It was a 35-cent Brave and Bold, number 56. It's a team up with Batman and Aquaman with some killer Neil Adams art. And he was not interested in these one effing bit because he had a Pokemon 3-ring binder with all these foil cards in there. And then there was Baby Shark. I swear, I've been turned. Now I know what Baby Shark is. And it's kind of really hippy dippy too, man. But he was more interested in Pokemon, more interested in Baby Shark, and more interested in his Switch than an actual comic book in front of him. And so I noticed that. I'm like, wow, hopefully he picks them up, you know, along the line. But I mean, that's what comics have competition with: your tablets and the TV. And I don't think floppies might lose this battle. I mean, geez.
You have to get Baby Land Shark going.
Baby, Jeff, we need a
Jeff
crossover between Baby Shark and it's Jeff.
I saw your post, Sully. It made me very depressed when you were talking about your nephew.
Yeah, about the 7-year-old who's not just just no interest. No. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was just, and now I thought he would have had a little bit of like, you know, like he was just looked at it, you know how kids are, you know, if they're really interested in something, they're going to be like, boom. And he was more interested in my little handheld that had all the classic games on it because he has a Switch. I was like, hey, I got Super Mario 3. You know, and he said, these are all the Pokemon card games I got over all the systems in this little emulator. He liked that part.
All right, dude.
But thanks.
Nick Klein is what Sully's saying. Mr. Bree, you have impeccable taste in comic book art. Who is your number 1 comic book artist right now?
Dan Mora is very good.
And he can do 2 books a month, which is amazing.
Marco Cicchetto is excellent. There was a guy that did a story in the Green Lantern, Green Arrow book about a year ago. And I can't remember his name. I'm not even sure if I know it, if you said it, but it was like...
Romanico?
No, the guy doesn't do a monthly.
Okay.
I at least that I know of. But I thought he was a little better Dan Mora than Dan Mora.
Which book was this again?
It was the Green
Lantern. The World's Finest one?
It might have been. It was a one shot. Had 2 stories. He did the first one, but it was excellent. But I can't remember his name. But it doesn't seem like there's. I saw I mentioned Nick Klein. I don't know who he is.
Artist on Hulk.
Yeah, he's really good. He was on Donny Cates' Thor. He's done a bunch of stuff.
I had the first couple of those. Yeah.
So it was a World's Finest special, and it was Lucas Meyer.
That's him. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought his art was excellent, but yeah, real quick, Saul, you mentioned, I said you think that floppies might lose the battle, and I think you're right, because if you don't replenish the comic book collectors with a new generation, they are gonna go by the wayside at some point. And this industry does nothing to promote comic book collecting anymore. It's too expensive to keep up with all the new stuff. There's no, outside of Hawkman, what has happened in the last 10 years, story-wise, that will stand the test of time? I can't think of any, or very few. And at some point, it might, just go to all trades and all digital. I can see that.
So your number one is Lucas Meyer?
Those three. So like I said, I mean, I'm obviously not reading, many new comic. The last new comic I read was a criminal, and I really like Sean Phillips on that title. But I'm not really in it enough to know who some of the other people are at this point.
Love it, dude. Thinking outside the box. All right, Dylan, who's your number one dude right now?
So I'll say that Sully stole mine. I agree with him on Nick Klein. I think Nick Klein is the one who consistently blows my socks off every issue that he's on. He's incredible, and he's the one that, like, when he hasn't been on like 3 issues, like, all right, it's like, it's annoying. Then he comes back, it's like, all is forgiven. Dad's back with the milk. It's incredible. I get it. But so I'll choose someone different because to not be repetitive. I'll go with Ivan Reis and Hyde Street, because he's still got it. Like, Ivan Reis has been around for a while, but he still does a lot of cool stuff with Hyde Street. I love what he's doing with Hyde Street. I think he's incredible with everything he's doing there, and I really like him. But there's so many great names out there, like Alessandra Cappuccio, what he did with Ultimate Wolverine. That book is very pretty. Tom Riley on G.I. Joe is constantly killing it. I really like Daniel Acuna on Escape. I really like what he's doing there with Rick Remender. Chris Mooneyham on G.I. Joe is also so good. It's nice having good artists, like multiple good artists on G.I. Joe. There's a lot of great ones out there right now.
Fabok, when he's actually able to do an issue of Rook Action, is pretty amazing.
Yeah, when you remember he's around. Yeah, Fabok's great.
That might be the best looking book, but it's so inconsistent.
Yep.
Yeah. So your number one is Nick Klein as well.
Yeah. And also, even I think he's only on covers right now, but Bruno Redondo is great. That big Superman special he did with Dan Jurgens last year, that was such a pretty book.
All right, Jim, you hate everything. There has to be one artist that you actually appreciate right now. Who's your guy?
I'm going to go back. I like Dan Mora. Like you said, he does a bunch of books, but I also like Brian Hitch on Red Coat. I think that he's really good still. I don't know. I'm not a real big art
It's
guy.
wild. If you look at Ghost Machine,
Yeah.
Gary Frank, Brian,
Gary Frank,
Jason
Brian
Fabok, and Ivan Reis.
Manipool.
Francis Manipool.
Crazy. Like, even like Francis Manipool that you kind of forget about is great. And they have great artists. But yeah, Gary Frank would be up there too.
But you like the Dan Mora.
I like Dan Mora.
Pretty amazing.
Because he can put out a bunch of stuff, and it just always looks good.
Yeah, that Superman book is fun.
Yeah,
I love the panel where he's like about to beat the snot out of somebody for saying MJ and Spider-Man shouldn't be married.
Yeah. Oh, that was good. That was a great issue. I wish that was this week. We needed something.
That's
like
what we needed this week. We needed one of those.
One book.
Mm-hmm. So I guess my number one, and I understand maybe not technically, he's probably not the best artist. Yeah, maybe he might not even be the best visual storyteller, but he's got the coolest style. And whenever I see his book, I'm just so happy with it. It's Juan Ferreira.
Juan Ferreira, yeah.
Yeah, I think
great.
he's my number one.
And he's a great
so
guy,
good.
too. He's such a nice guy as well. So,
But he's so unique. Nobody's doing anything resembling what he's doing. He even made Absolute Superman look good.
Yeah.
And his work on TMNT was awesome. He made Jason Aaron's TMNT awesome. So, just like him. Always have, though. Ever since, what was the first book I saw with him? Was it Killmonger?
Yeah, he was on that.
I think mine was his Green Arrow Rebirth. I think was the first thing I saw him on.
Yeah, that, and then he was on like New Suicide Squad for a little. He actually he put me in like 5 issues of that Green Arrow just to throw that out.
Just to
there.
get killed?
Just to, yeah. The weird science shirt get killed every time. That's great. Cheshire,
So you guys are like
killed us
buddies?
3 times. Yeah. I haven't talked to him in a while. He also put me in an Old Man Logan issue. I got killed there. It's constantly just getting destroyed. I mean, just plus at one point I had to let him know, like, listen, you're making me look a little too hefty here. At one point, it seemed like as I kept dying, I ended up. And V. Ken Marion's another guy who put me in a couple issues as well. I like his art as well.
I like VK a lot.
Yeah,
I had him on the show. He's a super nice guy as well.
Yeah, he is. He's a great guy.
Yeah. It was a pretty good time for artists.
Yeah.
Got some decent stuff going on right now. Although I do wish Jason Fabok would come back for Rook Exodus.
Yeah.
It seemed like the year-long break was enough to get more than 2 issues done.
Think.
Yeah, you would hope.
Somebody brings up Jim Lee. Jim Lee is still very, very good, but he's not even the Jim Lee from 10 years ago, let alone 20 years ago.
I think Jim Lee's biggest strength is Scott Williams, and always has been.
Whoa.
Yeah. Throwing down. Yeah.
He's a pretty good artist, dude. I mean,
He is. Oh, yeah,
I
he's
appreciate
excellent.
the
But,
input.
without Scott Williams, though, it's so noticeable.
Man, somebody's saying Jim is the comic book version of Sean Bean. I think
saw
Jim is
that.
the comic book version of Mr. Bean.
Maybe. The funny thing is, Juan ended up saying the reason why he kept killing me in the things is because that's what would happen. He would listen to the podcast. And he would, again, this was years ago, and he would listen to podcasts like, nobody has as bad luck as you. So anytime something would happen, I'd be in the middle of it just getting slaughtered.
So this bad luck isn't a new thing.
No. I told
Been going on
my
for 20
sons,
years?
I told the thing that I've left you is the Werner luck. And they realize it now. They'll message me and like, I think, do you mean this? I was at the store and this guy came up and said that I was this guy who owed him money. And then they did like shit like that happens all the time with us. I don't understand.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I think that'll almost do it for the show. I guess we should give another shout out and play this awesome trailer once again for Calico.
Hey, watch where you're going! Get on the ground now!
This is what we call heroes. That man will lose his job with no money coming in, then his wife and kids. This whole system is crooked. Red state, blue state, it doesn't matter. We don't need this. We need bagpipes.
Big bap, 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 big bap.
I do love the pipes, Sully.
I do too. I'm with General Balzac. Now I want to watch Boondock Saints again too. What are you going to do?
Dude, you have a CD with bagpipes playing, don't you?
Sometimes they just play them in the background, and just like it's like being in. I've never been to Ireland, but it makes me feel like I've gone.
You never been?
No, I haven't gone. No,
Right.
I should have gone
Overrated.
years ago when it was still Ireland, right?
Yep. Scotland was better, in my opinion.
Oh, you like haggis or something?
No, I didn't eat the haggis or anything. I just
Okay.
Scotland was cooler. The people were a little bit nicer,
Uh-huh.
and Edinburgh was about 1 billion times better than Dublin, in my opinion.
Ooh.
Just as a hang.
I'm going to write a
Yeah.
dirty song called Pig Bath now.
Pig
Oh,
back.
dude, you got to make a song called Pig Bath.
You have
It's so dirty.
and have a bagpipe solo like Bon Scott.
Damn right. Riding on the back of a flatbed.
Oh, yeah.
Disney or whatever the hell they were doing.
The guy Jeremiah says, with the delays on Ghost Machine, do you think it's more Jeff Johns doing too many books or the artist falling behind?
Probably the artist falling
I think it's
behind.
the
I'm
artist.
almost 100% it's the artist falling
Yeah.
behind.
Yeah.
Because we
Yeah,
know that
I-
Jeff Johns or just Jason Fabok had to take that big break because he had fallen behind. And now we're on another extended break. Gary Frank has been, he's a bit of a slow artist. I mean, he's a
Yeah.
great artist, but sometimes he's slow. There have been some fill-in artists there, but for the most part, he hasn't been able to keep up. There's one book that doesn't get delayed, It's the Brian Hitch book.
Yeah.
Right.
And they have fill-in artists, but I don't think he wants it to become the idea of, I mean, I hate to say it, but almost like Nick Klein, like Dylan, where people are like, come on, you got to get back. And okay, it's worth it, but they don't want to muddy it up as much.
Marvel 2099 says his dad was in the RAF, Royal Air Force, and he played bagpipes in the house, and they're kind of loud.
Yeah,
So
it's
they're
meant
not
to be
cool
outside.
live.
They're a battlefield kind of musical instrument, good for outdoors. Yeah, you've been in an Irish pub in Boston on St. Patrick's Day, and some fool's playing the bagpipes inside, and you're like, I'm just trying to eat my boiled dinner, Chief. Would you take that shit outside, please?
Just like walk around town, just start playing them in Walmart.
Ooh, that's a
I
good
see a
idea.
guy all the time. There's a guy in our local Walmart that's always like getting down with the mouth organ. Guy pulls out the harmonica. I see him all the time too. It's annoying.
You said mouth organ. I was going
No.
somewhere completely different.
Wait
dude.
a second.
Who knows what's happening in Walmart? You know what I'm saying? You have like two lips on your organ. I ended up
Wait-o,
with,
waka,
like
waka.
this guy ends up, but he'll stand near the entrance. Like I think that he thinks the greeter enjoys it. This little Indian guy, he doesn't seem to be enjoying it, but he does that. But bagpipes would be cool.
Yeah. So I think it's more of the artist than Jeff Johns himself. At least that's what it appears to be.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but the books are basically across the board very, very high quality. And I guess it's time to start talking about some comic book recommendations. Mr. Breed, I know that you're a bit out on new comic books these days. Are there any retro comic books, or have you revisited an old story recently that you think people should be taking notice of?
No, not really, but that's going to take a second. We mentioned Jerry Conway earlier. I mentioned Len Straczewski, another comic writer who passed this week. Did a Justice Society series in the early 90s that was a lot of fun and created Prime. But I don't have a recommendation, but I have a solicit an opinion. A friend of mine gave me an omnibus-sized Local Man. Is that worth reading?
That's the solely question.
I love Local Man. It reads better as a floppy because it's a flip book, and so most of the book is set in the now. When you flip it over, it's you get a couple of pages set in the 90s Image heyday of big shoulders and big guns and all those teams and stuff, and it's really fun. It's peaked Tim Seeley, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. And I wonder how the omnibus would read too, because the flip book was part of it, filling you in on the history.
I assume once you get through the regular history, just you go to the
right, yeah. But yeah, I'm 2 thumbs up, please.
All right, cool. I'll check it out.
Remember, Sully is the one that said Jurassic Park was an ass movie.
It was.
You got to take the recommendation with a grain of salt.
I don't know about that, but I respect this movie. I respect that movie more than I enjoy it. Doesn't that go somewhere? Isn't that worth something to you?
No.
I respect it. It's a Spielberg
Jurassic
movie.
Park is an amazing film.
John Williams music. I mean, I'm not going to knock John Williams. No way, man. I'm not going to do it.
Well, I do want to say thank you very much to Breen for joining us on late notice. I apologize for that, but I appreciate you coming in and having some geek conversations with us.
Anytime.
All right, Sully. I saw you champing at the bit with your bag of books. What did you get this week?
I got 3 funny books this week from my local comic book shop. I'm a Wednesday warrior. 2 of these were on my pull list, and 1 I got off the shelf just because I wanted to buy something new. I want to experience a new book. I want to, see what's out there and expand my horizons. And I got 3 books. I got the G.I. Joe Silent Missions Firefly book by Jorge Fornes. And it's an interesting read. It's great art, good panel progressions. It seems like such a weird kind of misfit. And if there's some kind of continuity, I don't think so. These are out of continuity because it deals with the Soviet Union and the October Guard. And there's like a Polaroid picture that mentions 1984, which doesn't look too long ago in the book. So it's like. So I don't know. It's just overall the Silent Missions, they were okay, and I was here for it. And I got the final issue of Sacrificers by Rick Remender and Max Fiumara. This is a great book. It's going to collect really nicely eventually in a nice big omnibus. Hopefully an oversized. This would deserve an absolute format of hardcover.
They're
oversized.
going to. Remender does it for all his stuff. They've got
Yeah.
the big deluxe editions.
This is a really good work, and this might be the book you're looking for. Something if you're not into superheroes or you want something new, you just want a new story with new characters, and it's great storytelling and it's great art, and it's got a good land. It lands the plane. And speaking of landings, I picked this up. It's issue 0 of Warbird from Bad Idea Comics for $1.99. And what I love most about these Bad Idea comics, sometimes they put out these issues 0 or their other printings. It's on this paper stock that it's just I'm in love with it, man. I love the way it holds the color. I mean, the colors are really nice, but without the finer paper stock, it reminds me of the newsprint comics of the Bronze Age, and I'm really in love with the way it feels on my fingertips. I love the medium itself. I love a floppy, and so this for me is this is a really good comic book, and it's cheap, and it's turning me on to a new story. And it's by Derek Kolstro, who was one of the writers of John Wick, and with Robert Venditti.
Kolstad, isn't it?
Kolstad, yeah. And it's got a beautiful Frank Whiteley cover too. So $1.99. Get some Frank Whiteley art. Try something new. Pick it up off the shelf of your local comic book shop. I'm going back today to celebrate New Comic Book Day and pick something up on sale. So happy free comic book day. Today is the first Saturday in May, and it's free comic book day. So go to your local comic book shop. There's probably a sale going on right now. So check it out.
What are you doing to celebrate May the 4th be with you?
I am going to, we're Orthodox in my house. We celebrate on the 25th, but May is chock full of Star Wars. It's George Lucas's birthday is in May. All 6 Star Wars movies were released in May. The Disney ones don't count, and they were released in December. And May the 4th is on Monday. My Marketplace Cafe is having a May the 4th menu. We're renaming all of our entree items with clever Star Wars-isms. I even suggested the French Toast Awakens for the breakfast.
Oh, man. That shit only gets over on a channel like this, Sully.
I know, man. And thank you, everyone out there in the best chat in the world. Keep this conversation going, this comic book shop style conversation. The comments all week long, they're thrilling, and read them and contribute and be part of it. And thank you, everyone.
All right, Jim, you survived another week to tell your tale. Did you find some books that at least lived up to your very high standard?
I guess I'll put The Punisher, number 3. You convinced me it was a bit better. I was kind of with Dylan at first. I was like, yeah, it's just kind of, some fights and whatnot. But it wasn't a great week for what I read. And I'll even put that silent issue in as well. And then I ended up, funny thing, I didn't read it. And as we were talking about it, it doesn't take much to read. So I read it while we were talking about it. And that was pretty good. And I convinced you that was better than what you thought originally. So there you go.
Did you read Red Roots number 1 yet?
No, I still have to read that. I told you I started reading it and didn't like the art. I'll be reading that tomorrow.
It's a very interesting book.
Yeah, so I'll check that out.
You got any big videos or anything people need to know about? Any dirty songs dropping?
I got dirty songs dropping. We're actually, we got up to, I think, 217,000 subscribers now. So that's where the action is for me. But every other day we have a new song. And I have a live dance party tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If anybody was interested in that, where I play a bunch of songs and tell stories, spin more yarns. But it's more like a radio type show.
Very nice. Last but not least, Dylan, the Real Comic Book Gamer. Do you have any big videos or streams that people need to know about?
Yeah, I got a new video that I posted yesterday talking about the best way to read comics, which to me is the DC Absolute Editions, those big oversized editions. Talking about that was fun. And not a great week for comics, but I'd say Sacrificers 21 rounds up the Sacrificers. It was really good. Enjoyed it. Batman Wonder Woman Truth number 1. Like someone said earlier, it feels like a comic out of 2003. The art's great, and the story was fun enough. I enjoyed it. And then the Firefly Silent issue, that was pretty good.
No Punisher. You didn't like it, huh?
Punisher was okay, but I wouldn't recommend it.
I think he's going a little too far. I think they are presenting Punisher as being a little different than he actually is, where he's just like going up and breaking necks and stuff like that when people aren't looking.
Yeah, and just the whole being like, you were always just horrible, awful. You always wanted to kill everything. Like your whole family being massacred in front of you didn't really affect you that much. Turns out you were always like this. Like, okay, how about that?
All right, well that'll do it. Did you get to check out the UFC? Was it worth checking out, Dylan?
What do you mean last week?
No, there's a one in Australia going on right now. Or was.
Oh yeah, we got the Strickland, what's it called, fight, but that's not. I think that's next weekend.
It's Jack Dale of Madonna, what a guy's name is.
Oh yeah, he fought Carlos Prates. Yeah, I've not been able to watch that because the time difference and this happening at 7 a.m. my time. So
My bad.
that was happening at 4 a.m. So I was not be able to to watch that and be conscious for this show.
Well, thank you very much to everybody. Have a good weekend, and don't forget to support Calico Wanted Men over there on Kickstarter. Unless you're in the El Paso area, go check out HH, and definitely go check out your local comic book shop for free comic book day. Probably got lots of specials going on today. Bye.